we finally got everything set up to where you can take a hot shower now, hot running shower. And yes, we have water. We're not on city water. We're collecting our water, so everybody,
Calm down.
Right. So there was.
Do you have a lawn?
There was a bottle of shampoo. We have a very beautiful lawn actually down there. The lawn at the cabin is better than my lawn at my house. And so anyway, I went in to get into the shower, take a shower. Somebody put a bottle of shampoo up on the counter there. Actually, it's on the window, and it had split, and all the shampoo had run down into the bottom of the shower. And so,
Trip hazard.
unbeknownst to me, I get in there, and it's like an ice skating rink.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I'm all over the place. Suds are going everywhere. So anyway, yeah, shampoo.
Sounds like good YouTube.
Yo, yes, actually, I'm not sure about. Yeah, more like radio, and there was sliding everywhere. So anyway, good times. Yeah, morning, Nick.
Morning.
Morning,
Fishing's
Tyler.
still
Good
good,
morning.
guys. With the temperature holding in the 60s. That's
Turn
really high.
turn that mic a little bit.
It is?
Yeah,
Which
there's-
one?
There you go. Yeah, they're side address mics.
Okay.
Okay, there you
So
go.
you
So-
got me on the right side.
So
Yeah.
so fishing's great. How's the catching? That's what we want to know.
When that wind swings south and things settle, really, really good. You've got a lot of small sharks working in the first or second gut, which are scaring out a lot. If you start picking them up, you might as well move, because there's a lot of them.
Oh,
and they
Tyler
scare
and I
the
love
hog
to do
down.
that.
Huh?
Tyler and I love to do that. So when we're pump fishing, we'll see that we've got a whiting on, because you can tell the difference between a whiting and a pump. And it's like, oh, just leave it. We got a lot of quid in us. And then we know that we're shark fishing at that point in time.
Well, no, that we would. The idea was that we'd have the Nick Meyer rigs with two sections on them. So like, well, there's still one
There's
fish
still
bite
one, yeah,
and ghost
right.
shrimp available for another pompano. So then you leave a little whiting on there, and then you come up and oh, it's a black tip pup. Thank you.
Yeah, right, exactly.
That's how we used to fish. Remember, we used to get the samples for Art Morris. We get the black tip samples by doing that. You know, it's just part of those things. It's like when you go fishing for snapper, and you leave a juvenile snapper on there, like and you come up with an amberjack.
Well, and you reel it in
Yeah.
slow.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
I went down like, I think it was last Sunday. No, sorry, it was the one before. Real low tide. Saw all the old structures, clear as a bell.
Yeah,
Did you?
Yeah.
there were a few people that were posting some pictures of old structures that were finally exposed.
Yeah.
You know, Lauren pointed out on our way to church, you could see the old stand, the old pilings for the old causeway.
Yeah.
That's what Skipper said that he and Karen were driving across one day. She says, "What are all those ducks doing in a line?"
There was an island moon a while ago. I got a drone shot. It was a gorgeous, clear day like yesterday, and the sticks were out, and I got an awesome shot about 2 foot above the water, looking out at the sticks with the bridge in the background.
Right.
I need to find that
And so,
shot. Yeah.
the sticks are only out when it's low tide around here. Jason Zeppelin and I were talking the other day. It's like, if you don't believe in sea level rise, then you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
You're just not
Have you
paying
seen
attention.
that wash out at it's about 40?
Yeah.
So I went down and I was looking where the water had been on the dune line.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally about a foot or so high. You can see where the watermark.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, we're looking out here in the Laguna. If you guys can see that way, there appears to be no water in the Laguna. You could probably just wring it out like a sponge. But that's the tides moving up and down. We've got nuisance tides. We also have. Oh, I need to talk to Philippe Tissot about that, Dr. Tissot. What is a reverse nuisance tide, where it goes below mean low water?
Something that's not a nuisance, a helpful tide? At
Yeah.
that
No,
point,
it's not very
a-
helpful if
it's
you're
a-
trying to drive a boat around in the Laguna.
Yeah.
I promise you that.
Well, what's a nuisance tide?
A nuisance tide is it stays higher longer than it typically would.
Oh, like that Alberto. That was
Yeah,
a
well,
nuisance tide.
That's a storm tide, right?
But it still was a nuisance.
Yes, I'll
Yeah.
give you that. It was a nuisance to some of the people there on Cruiser Street. So,
That high water, high pressure pushes that water out of the boat zone. I mean, it
Mhm.
can be running out when it's supposed to be coming in. It's still going out. If you look at it. That's why I can never use Packery
No.
tide charts or anything when
Yeah.
we're talking about the beach.
right, but if you go to the Island Moon, you can actually see our monthly tide chart or weekly tide charts that Jacob puts in.
Yes.
We were looking at that. I was looking at that, and this weekend it looks like it's going to be high tide around 5 o'clock, which is good because you get all the morning
Yeah.
to play,
Cool.
and then it gets nasty late.
We're
no, but it pulls you south. So you hit
So
the
then you
beach-
get nasty,
You
yeah.
hit the beach in the morning, and you're like, oh great, the tide's low, and you bomb all the way south, and then
Oh, it's 3 o'clock, and
If
you're
you
like,
want to
oh.
catch
We
a
gotta
pop,
go.
that low tide is your asset.
Yeah.
I mean, so you can get out on the points. I mean, then big pond and small pond move in two totally different groups.
Right.
You'll pick up the small ones just over the first and second bar,
and-
but you need to be on that third bar to get them big.
Downtown.
It's also worth it to get out and mark some spots at low
Yeah.
tide, and
Yeah.
and that way, you know, for people,
Structure especially.
yeah, for people who are learning the beach.
They're good for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I've got
Yeah.
structure all the way down that beach, and I'm not going to tell you a damn one.
Yeah,
Well, and it'll change, you know, after a couple of cold fronts.
No, I'm talking about wrecks and things.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
I think Torpedo posted those on the back when we had Garmin's.
Yeah.
Your GPS. He posted those, and somebody like almost shot him.
yeah. You know, you're not going to give away Grandma's secret recipe on the radio.
Right, yeah.
Sorry
This
for
piggy
everybody
was
in
very
radio
proud. I
land.
had a
This
good look
piggy,
around
yeah.
that.
Hey, was Floyd's Hill visible?
Yeah. Everything's set. Hardhead's buoy, the record
Really?
36, they were clear as a bell. And
Yeah,
good
right.
structure.
The record, the 36. Where? Where's that?
Right.
It's not at the
Is
36.
is the one at the Turtle Shack exposed this year?
A little bit. It's not as big as one when it has been, but it was very clear. as a
Yeah,
bell.
last time I saw it, you could see like a part over here and a
Yeah,
part over
that's
there.
basically,
and the
it's
middle
like
was
there's a
buried.
beam laying.
What about Piggy?
Miss Piggy, she's there, clear as a bell, mate.
So speaking of turtles, Donna has walked away from the program,
Yeah.
and there are a lot of people fired up about that. Have you heard anything?
I
What's the?
saw the post that she put up saying
Yeah.
that she was walking away from it, and I don't know who's taking it over. I mean, that's the one that saved all them green turtles, not saved them, but brought them all in thousands of green turtles.
And the Kemps, yeah.
And,
Yeah.
Cynthia, our friend Cynthia, she moved over to U.S. Fish and Wildlife a couple of years ago.
So that's who we thought was going to take it over, but she moved on to something else. So what do we do now? Because
Well,
she
that's-
can't.
So I
Donna
did-
can't talk
I had
about
a
it.
meeting at the park about 3 weeks ago. Judge Canales and all of us went up,
Yeah.
and it's obvious they're pretty much trying to close the program down.
I did see.
Sound.
I did see
Yeah.
some kind of. I did see some kind of headline, and I'm not sure which news source it came from. I've been on the road and traveling, but it mentioned something about Nueces County potentially building a turtle incubation facility in Claiborne County. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
There's
Well,
a big
because he can't get
argument
to.
about who should be monitoring that part of the beach because it goes
Yeah.
to claim.
Well, and that used to be required by the Army Corps of Engineers through their beach maintenance permits, and now after a lot of people have gone 5 years, that's dropped off.
Well,
So-
the reason why I'm kind of bringing this up is to get to the overarching point that if we, if the turtle program ends up basically getting shut down and goes away, I want to make sure that we don't have the national park coming out and saying, well, because we don't have a turtle program anymore, we're going to restrict driving on the
That's
beach.
what
Getting-
I've always been fighting against.
Yep, exactly.
That's why the turtle program has become an
Well-
asset for the fishermen as far as I'm concerned because it protects our
And
protects us rights.
you and I, heck, we all know we were there for the fight between the turtle people and the fishermen, and
How many
then,
fights?
well, and then we ended up joining sides,
Yeah,
and
that's right.
and helping out each other, and now it's to the point now where they're like, okay, well, we're kind of taking a leg off of our argument here, and believe me, they will get their pitchforks and the axes and everything out if they do restrict driving on the beach. It's gonna be crazy.
Light the torch, and I'll be out there on a steed.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what was years ago, not many years ago, I mean, you would go down there during the season, and there'd be these students from all over America. I mean, loads of them.
Yeah.
They built this beautiful building down there.
Mhm.
All this summer, there's about 2 or 3 at the most. There used to be one every 5 miles. Now
Yeah.
it's like one every, I don't know what.
Well, now I understand things kind of changed during COVID, right? And that was a big kind of step for a lot of different businesses. National Park Service being one of them because they're federally governed, or operated. But I'm having trouble seeing a way out of this one. It seems like, and I've got friends that work at the park, and so a bunch of them are actually probably listening right now. So good morning, fellas and ladies. You know who you are. We love and appreciate everybody that works at the park. And there are so many people that work with organizations like Sharkathon and Friends of Padre to put on beach cleanups and fishing tournaments that promote conservation and asset, management and everything. But it seems like management from the top down just isn't there.
I was there at that meeting, and I said that they were talking about financial shortfalls, and there was an accountant, a young lady, and very negative, in my opinion, and made me realise why you don't see many accountants running a business. They've totally lost the ability of foresight.
Yeah.
I think that program, correctly managed, with its own cameras in the labs,
Yeah.
would have so much backing on YouTube and public money come. They wouldn't have to worry about all these grants. I promise you,
Yeah.
it would be a win-win.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to set that up.
Well, and how many years has that program been going? You can't tell me that given the chance they could reach out and get the funding and that would go through.
Easy.
Yeah.
Barbara said on the beach when they release the turtles, if the park has got a shortfall, she will raise the money. She said, "I will do it for you."
Yeah.
And I mean,
No,
just
the
don't-
impact of tourism, they finally started to slice that data and figured out when they were having the big releases in like July, some of the first releases, we're gonna have almost 10,000 people there, and a lot of those people are coming in from out of town.
Yeah.
well,
And because you gotta be there at 5:30 a.m., that's a
They're staying overnight?
Staying, so that's
Yeah.
what hotels say.
did you go to the one they did up by Port A, the last one, big one I went to? There was thousands of people,
Yeah.
and I interviewed some of them, Minnesota,
Yeah.
all over the
Yeah.
country coming in just to see this.
It seems like-
the last turtle release that I went to, I worked it. So
Yeah,
it's been,
wow.
It's been a bit.
Been a fortnight.
Someone's got to make the coffee.
We did one on the show. I did one live. Went back. You
Yeah.
can't get a signal out there, and I was like,
Yeah.
I had Don on there, and I got to go to one of the first releases, and it was fun.
And you got to see all the cute little tiny little turtles out
and
there.
and they don't just they weren't like these look like Donna. Are they dead? She goes, no, they're just
they're cold. Yeah.
they're cold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't like you think you see them all rare to go like, hey, we're going towards the sunlight, and going towards the nope. They were just like slugs. I'm like, come on, we need some stunt turtles to make
Well,
it like
Yeah.
and that's part of it too. They don't want to just like to trot off into the deal because then the terns and the gulls will come down and try to scoop them up. So they move a little bit and then stop.
Yeah, then we started fishing for Dorado after.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's a joke because if everybody's seen a picture of the Dorado with a bunch of nesting
Sort of small turtles and it's-
turtle
yeah.
hatchlings, yes.
Hilarious. There's a lot going on the island, a lot going on in town as well. So we're glad you're joining us. It is 7:15. Good morning, friends. It's Island Moon Thursday. We're live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks. Last time I was here, I got a shrimp po' boy, and it was just outstanding.
You didn't get the stuff.
You didn't
Yes.
no
Well-
stuffed flounder?
Well, no, I finally broke my pattern. But now I have to. I'm going to try something from land. I haven't had the chicken fried steak here, and that's going to be next on the menu.
That's the canary in the coal
Yes.
mine. Is the chicken fried steak.
Yes, definitely recommend it. Jump on out to Doc's anytime you're on the island. Pick up a great sunset, grab a beverage and a good meal. Hang out, show your friends just how gorgeous it is out here. And we're nice and toasty inside. It feels great out here. It's a bit blustery out there though.
It is, and a front must have come through last night.
Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to have a couple days of nice, good old sunshine, and then another weather system moves through apparently.
Oh, goody.
And then we can, yeah.
Do you see any windows coming up?
Well, I was looking, there are a couple of slots where like this afternoon, it's going to go round to the south again. And when that wind goes south, that's really when I've
If you're
been picking up.
if you're in the 50s, that's nice.
Right.
Oh, another announcement. They are starting to dredge Port Mansfield this
I
weekend.
saw that, yeah.
Right, so-
I did post that.
But yeah, you posted it, exactly. Yeah, right. And,
Hey Nick, here's something
I
that
didn't
you
see
posted.
but everybody wanted to know. The questions was like, okay, well, how long is it going to take them? We don't know. It depends on.
Last time it was about 6 months, wasn't it? They built the beach up there in the corner.
Right.
Well, that was my question: is are they going to drop the dredge material onto the beach, re-nourish on the north side?
That's
Yeah.
what they normally do.
Yeah.
And then once they get about 3 or 4 chunks of Kemp's Ridleys in there, they stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think their incidental take is 3 to 4.
Right. No, I mean it's. I'm honest.
In
It's
their
sad to say that, but it's what it is.
opinion, yeah.
But the thing is, you go over there if you get, they block it off about 1.5 miles short of the jetty.
Yeah.
But if you walk up to it, they don't seem to care too much. You see,
yeah.
well, they do care. But
Yeah.
but the highlight is you see the dinner plate size stingrays getting thrown
Yeah.
from the dredge. It's like boom.
Yeah.
And I have it on good word. That's where one of those Spanish wrecks ended
It's
up in the
under-
middle of the
yeah.
channel.
Under the jetty.
It's under the
Yeah,
jetty.
to get a read.
And every once in a while, somebody who will not be named would find a reale, those little
Oh,
silver
cool.
coins.
Yeah.
Who's no longer alive found several of them.
Right. And so that's
Dear
why,
to our
that's why
hearts.
they close it off to
Yeah.
people, because
I never-
I'd be sitting down there with a sluice like I'm paying a
Oh,
gold,
yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean?
I've never found one, but if I did, I would lose it in a boating accident.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Along with half of your guns.
Yes, yeah, most of them. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's always interesting, and it's nice that they can get that out of there because it's down to about 3 or 4 feet at
Yeah,
certain
it depends
times.
on where you hug. So some of the boats that know how to get through there can get through there. But unfortunately, you got to hug the North Jetty. The channel is right next to the North Jetty. So if you're like myself, who drives down there and fishes for tarpon, all the boats got to drive right next to the jetty. It's kind of the same thing with packers.
I did see some fellows in the last couple of weeks, even with the cold front that had come through, that they had caught tarpon there, and they
Yeah.
also had a lot of
Barry was
mangrove.
there last weekend.
Yeah,
They did real well.
And they landed 1 out of 4.
yeah.
It's like still in January.
Yeah.
Tarpon are still around. Oh yeah, the artificial reefing deal. That was one of the presentations was like the tarpon migration. So they put these satellite tags in the tarpon, and they actually plotted. They had like 7 or 8 of them, and they plotted them out like in this kind of like, you know, remember the jackrabbit kind of deals that would go across, and you're like, okay, it's clinky clinky. But they had these little tarpon symbols that would move down the coast, and they had it time lapsed, right?
Yeah, you can see them.
You could see when they move up and then move back, and they figured out that because they're tagging tarpon in the eastern Gulf as well, the tarpon come together around the Mississippi, and then they go back. There's almost no interaction, but maybe interaction, but there's no migration between the east and west Gulf tarpon. But they do meet up at the Delta, at the Mississippi Delta.
Interesting.
Bourbon Street.
Right?
Right, yeah, Bourbon Street.
That's
Yeah,
it.
let's go get it on baits.
The
Yes.
tarpon, good old tarpon Mardi Gras is coming to a delta near you.
But it's great.
I love it. That's
like,
awesome.
But it shows the tarpons like going south right now, like
Mhm.
and they're gone.
They're-
And then all of a sudden, magically, in like March, they reappear and start marching up the coast.
People are also doing studies in banding white pelicans. And did you see that?
Uh-uh.
That graph? So they're
I can see
tagging.
there's a bunch of white pelicans right over there right now.
Well, they're tagging a bunch in Port A, and you can kind of see the spread where they've been spotted
yeah.
after all that. So I mean, it's kind of interesting. It doesn't have like the immediate data on it. It just shows the kind of. It's literally like a firework going off from Port A. Like they just go everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah,
But-
yeah. Oh, one of the other interesting things I keep talking about this, and maybe I'll end the plane on the artificial reefing program. They're doing some tagging studies out at flower gardens, right? So they have a new tag, you know, those little tags that we were using to help Laura do her acoustic array with
Yeah,
the
yeah.
trout and figure out where they move. They're putting some in lionfish, and now they have a little extra spot on the outside of these tags to where when it's predated, when it's eaten, then it clicks over to a different color. And so they were tagging these lionfish, and then the lionfish are popping around, and all of a sudden it turns red. And then we don't know what it is. Could be a shark, could be a grouper, could be eel. But all of a sudden, boom, it swims like 10 miles this way, pops up at High Island rig. It's like, whoa, it's over there.
That's
and then it
awesome.
comes back in a couple of days and just kind of bombs around, and then poof, goes back to the High Island rig. So we don't know
Would-
if it's a white shark
I
or
mean,
Barracuda
being
or-
caught, Joey, around here. I mean, everyone was going to say how prolific
Lionfish?
they were, but I've not heard. any
yeah,
real
no, they
reports.
caught a
I know
lion.
one or two.
They caught lionfish off the Packery jetties 2 years ago.
Yeah, but not in the numbers. I mean, they were talking about it was going to take over the reef.
It is. They are taking over the reef.
Well, I haven't seen many caught.
Like the Flower Garden Banks, they're doing an invitational every summer. In fact, our friend K Ocean Pebbles went out on that, and they're doing like 4 or 5 trips a year now, and they're just going down and whacking the
Supposed to be
lionfish
good
as
eating,
they can.
right?
So
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah, no,
we're
excellent.
we're going to take a quick radio break, and we will return very shortly.
anyway, I've got lots of good stuff that I can run through pretty quick. Got some cool news about morning.
Morning.
I got some
Sorry,
cool
I'm
news
late.
about Hoover and Nansen.
Are they moving them?
They're reefing them.
Even
They're
better.
reefing them at East Breaks.
Even better.
At East Breaks, they're going to put Hoover and Nansen down. They're putting Nansen down this year and Hoover next year.
Are they using them concrete triangles? Is that what-
Yeah, and actually I can run through a lot of that too. Down in RGB, they're doing a bunch of cool stuff. Yeah, Grand Valley Reef.
Just come in reach with the jets and stuff.
I couldn't get that thing to send off.
Absolutely. In
That's
fact,
okay, I
they're
got it.
building, they're building some really
was having the same
shallow
problem you
reefs
were.
up around Seagram State Park
Okay.
that are like well within sight of the beach, and they're doing high profile and 20 feet of water that people can kayak to. So it'd be
Really?
one of the first artificial kayak
Perfect.
reefs, like by normal people,
Mhm.
not like Glenn Madden that can.
What about,
They go 10
remember,
miles
remember the Lake
offshore.
Rabbit?
The what? The lake? Oh yeah, Paul Hare.
Paul Hare?
Yeah.
Paul Hare used to go, he was 70 years old, he used to paddle out to the
Same Nance.
yeah, over there at the 5 mile mark, the rig over there, in the fog, in the wintertime by himself.
Crazy. Exactly.
Hated life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So are you still? Are you divvying up the YouTube and
Radio?
Radio.
I didn't know.
Yeah, we're doing both.
I didn't know they were.
Yeah, so we're still live on
We're
YouTube.
still
Dredging
on
Mansfield.
Hello, YouTube
Great.
friends.
Hello,
Yeah,
YouTube.
and they can hear
I
us.
didn't know they were dredging Mansfield. They just started
Yeah.
that.
They just started. Those start this weekend. What's the 18th? Something like that.
How deep do they dredge it when they do that?
Well, they try to get it to 14, and they have they can do +2 in some areas, so they can do 16.
It doesn't seem
By the
that long ago.
permit.
How long ago was it? It was dredged maybe 5-6 years or maybe 10.
Oh
I don't
gosh,
know.
no.
It's
it
been a
was-
while.
No, it was like 5-6 years ago, something like that. But that was more of a kind of spot dredge.
Well, it's, how long will it stay?
Hang on, I'm gonna
14?
play this Michael
thing-
Hall ad, but
that-
it's gonna be the
That
old
thing-
How
school
long before
way.
it'll silt back in?
Right.
Obviously, it don't take long. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure it was 5 years ago. I remember seeing.
This is Michael Hall,
dredges
Island resident
parked up
and
on
candidate for
the
Nueces
side.
County Commissioner Precinct 4. I have my first meet and greet tonight at Black Sheep Bistro at 5:30 p.m. I'd love to take the opportunity to meet you guys, and I hope to see you there.
That's right. It is Island Moon Thursday, and we are. Let me take the commercial thing down off of YouTube. We've got Dale Rankin, Nick Meyer, Tyler Thorson, Jay Gardner, and my name is Jacob Oggs. We've got a good old crew here at Doc's Seafood and Steaks, and
So there for you in Radio Land. Let me run through this. Unless you got to go, Nick.
No, I'm fine.
Got a few minutes?
I
All
want
right.
to listen, then I'm going to just run off.
So Nick
For
said-
those of you in Radio Land who missed the information during the break, I was at an artificial reefing program workshop yesterday in Galveston, and we got thanks to Lindsay Savage, local Texas Parks and Wildlife artificial reef coordinator, who put this on. But we got some great updates on the Rio Grande Valley reefs. Number one, the Gary Glick started many moons ago, is almost full.
cheers, Gary.
Yeah, they are getting in the permit for Rio Grande Valley 2. The Queen Isabella Causeway is about 57% reefed. That is by the General Land Office. We really thank them. Those are 620-acre reef sites, 3 of them. Compared to our MU 775, it's like a 60-acre reef site. These are massive, and they're pulling in a lot of people. 70% of angling trips that go offshore go to artificial reefs off the Texas coast. We've got a lot of great stats here. 50% of the diving trips today, and the average cost of an angling trip offshore is $1,650. There's a lot of money in this, so we need to step up our artificial reef program out here. And the really big news is if you're a really offshore fisherman, Nansen, the two spar buoys out there, 115, 120 miles, right? We've been out there. They're going to reef Nansen at East Breaks.
How deep is
This
that
year,
there? That's
800
I was going to
800
say
feet of water.
that's
So-
over the that's
yeah,
off
so-
of the shelf.
So
yeah.
you're up on the shelf, and then probably about halfway down you hit 800 feet of water. So they're going to do Nansen this year. That's Oxy that's doing that, and then in 2027 they're going to reef Hoover in the same area, and that's ExxonMobil that's doing that in 2027.
Good
So
for them. Well, I remember.
I asked one of the Ryan, one of the guys who's helping maintain the buoy system there at Flower Garden National, at the Marine Sanctuary. Their buoys are in between 70 and 120 feet of water. I said, so you're going to put a mooring ball on that, mate? And he said, we might try. That would be crazy in 800 feet of water, have a mooring ball, but by the time you
Yeah.
drop down,
Yeah.
So that was kind of fun. There was a few other odds and ends, but that was kind of the good stuff from the artificial reefing program.
So something that I saw a little while ago was people were doing studies on the actual fish that are on different size and styles of reef. Right? There's one style that's just the big pile, like an RGV reef, right?
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then their field style, which are the big like pyramid tripod things.
Right, so you've got your ultra high relief, and then your pyramids are high relief, and then you've got mid rubble relief, which are your culverts, and then the low relief is the best thing for raising juvenile red snapper. And Rick Klein from UTRGV had some really good video of cinder blocks that were down in the mud. They were buried like halfway, but these little red snapper, they could get in there and nothing could get at them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you put a camera down, they all go in there, and then they start popping their little heads up. I mean, there's no more space. It's like half of a cinder block space.
Yeah.
Come to find out is the best reefing material. So anyway, there was a lot of other stuff and cool stuff that we can go into detail about, but I'll write about it next
Why
week.
you dump a couple of them in the first gut?
Yeah.
Now,
If they would stay there,
well,
if they would
that's
stay
the
there,
problem,
that's the
is
deal.
the scour. We actually learned about scour too, and vortices and all that noise. But yeah, no, they get buried because of the current. So unless you have some kind of break or something. But yeah.
We several people used to go down the beach and make their own reefs, like out of old wheels.
There was a big set of wheels washed up. Did you see that last week?
No.
Yeah.
Now I wasn't on the boat when this happened, and I'm not going to say the name of the person who did it, but there was a privately done artificial reefing project that was involving some rebar that were welded together into spires into a big shape that got set with some cinder blocks
Wait,
and
what do you
and
mean you
stuff.
weren't on the boat?
And yeah,
I have
it was
pictures of you
it was a
being on the
gorgeous
boat.
day
Wait,
that
I
day
wasn't
that
on
I
the
wasn't
boat.
there. But
You know the funny thing is, that guy walked into my yard last night.
oh, nice. So
Not
so
kidding.
but
I invited him here.
the funny thing was this
drove up
this
that
spot,
little
this
ramp.
artificial reef was set down, and it probably got swept out by a shrimp net, which
Oh.
which I'm sure those guys were cussing, man, when that thing came up. Because it probably took them about 3 hours to clear that net with all this rebar and stuff in it.
What always amazes me is how small a structure can be that really holds.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right, absolutely.
36 the other day I pulled in there and me and the wife must have picked up 30 reds in
Yeah.
no time.
That's
And it's
it's
nothing but a little pole.
an
sticking out
oasis
the
in the desert. That's exactly it. So yeah, that's what the artificial reefing program is
That's
trying to
right.
do, and we need to do a little bit more.
How many reefs do we have off the Texas coast?
Oh gosh, what they say, 97 artificial reefs. That include a few tugboats and stuff like that. The problem is especially on the upper coast, the idle iron program, and I think you and I have talked about that in years past, where they're pulling down all the oil and gas wells at a high rate of speed. A lot of people like to blame President Obama, but it actually started a little bit before that. But yeah, all these artificial structures, they actually make fish. That's the one thing that we learned yesterday. Rick Dr. Klein actually answered the question, do reefs make fish? They do. But it is the biomass from the fouling community, right?
Right.
Tell, oh, that's foul. No, it's all the encrusting algae and the hydroids and the what is that, sauerkraut stuff?
Oh,
that
yes,
washes up.
yes.
Well, that provides point of attachment and places where things can grow and the fish can eat them. So the artificial reefs actually create fish. So, and the age-old question, the chicken and the egg, dude.
Right.
So he
And
definitively
the
proved
closest
that.
one to us, I guess, is the one 9 miles off.
We MU 775 or Packery Channel Reef, yes, is right out that way, 9 nautical miles. We're in the middle of, Texas Parks and Wildlife is in the middle of permitting it, doubling that, so they're going to double
Okay.
another 160 acres.
We're going to take a quick radio break. I've got to reset the audio on YouTube. Let's see here.
I'm going to take
All right,
a quick
coffee.
and go there do the report. Nice seeing you guys.
You're gonna go to the report.
As
Right.
per normal. Nice seeing you.
Yeah, good
Thanks for
seeing you.
looking after us.
We'll see you, Nick.
We didn't get to talk about leadworms.
Oh no, I did go digging. It was freezing. I got out there and loaded all.
Oh, yeah.
Experience like that has kept our community strong.
Yeah, I saw your live report. Everybody here, like, what's the water temperature now?
We built the coast together.
That's warmer than I would have thought.
Generations. Together we've created economic power.
No, last year was kind of warm.
Global port, a top naval air station.
Oh, I know. I remember I was telling somebody, like, oh, this year's so warm. It's like last year, I remember I had a live cicada.
Protected our coastal soul, and it's all connected. When our industries thrive,
Yeah.
when new businesses arise,
Nick.
the future shines even brighter. Because every dollar spent ripples across the coast, supporting local businesses, restaurants, shops, and so much more. We built the Coastal Bend together. Now, let's come together again to plan our future. We need a plan for water. We need a plan for infrastructure. And we need to support the businesses that create opportunities close to home. This is my town, our future.
Everyone's asking, is college worth it? At Del Mar College, it is. We're ranked top 10% nationally for upward mobility. Because when you earn more, it changes what's possible for your whole family. At Del Mar College, you'll go from dream to paycheck with training that leads to the career you actually want. Real skills, real credentials, real opportunities, right here in the Coastal Bend. Own your dreams. Learn more at info.delmar.edu.
Are you getting the coverage and financial protection you deserve? At Enrichment Group, they're a veteran-owned, faith-based brokerage firm committed to
people are saying on YouTube, let's hope these mics
starting
are
at just
back.
$0. Life insurance options that can cover
Well, I have to
anyone.
clean and
retirement
reset
planning
every
tailored
time,
for everyone.
and the audio was reading and it was recording,
Employees,
but the feed out
nonprofits,
was
and veterans.
So we're working on it. Thanks,
Enrichment
everybody.
Group guides you with honesty, experience, and care. Call 361.
It's part of the program brought to you by Technical Difficulties.
2911, or visit
We got 'em.
enrichmentgroup.org. Enrichment Group, protecting what matters most.
Yeah, exactly.
Retro Theft
I do that for free.
104.1 and Retro Country 105.9 and 103.3, and available worldwide on our app at Retro Radio CC. It's the Power Hour with Larry Elizondo, the Godfather, who makes street sense meet common sense. Now, live from Doc's Seafood and Steaks, it's Island Moon Thursdays.
All right, Island Moon Thursday. We are back. I am checking the... Okay, here we go. Yes, my name is Jacob Oggs. We should have all this back. David Carr joining us, Dale Rankin, editor-publisher of the Island Moon, Tyler Thorson, and we've got David Eckenrode with us. How's it going, buddy?
It's going great. This is a great day for us.
It's a big world, big day in pickleball world.
That's right. It's good for our community more than anything else. It's been a long 3 or 4 years since we started this project, and finally, never really thought that we would see that thing about groundbreaking.
We've been pickleball free here on this show for about a year.
Yeah.
But the wheels have been turning slowly in the background. It was probably a couple of years ago.
Never give up, man. That's how you deal with it.
It's probably been a couple of years since we first started talking about
3 years
pickleball.
ago. I looked
3
at it.
years. And so now you've got they're doing the groundbreaking at Commodore's Park,
February 12th.
and that's got how many? 4 pickleball courts.
4 pickleball courts, 2 tennis courts, and a pavilion for basketball, which I hope we'll be able to line for pickleball courts too.
Right.
We'll line the tennis courts for pickleball, so we'll have about 12 or 13 courts, but
Wow.
4 will be dedicated. And we've got about, on the island now, we've got over 80 people that play pickleball. We've got on my website, the island pickleball group, I've got over 2,500 people that in the area that are playing pickleball. It's really picked up. This is just really great for the community because people don't realize how social this sport is. You get out there and you meet people and you become friends immediately, whether you win or lose. It's not that competitive kind of stuff. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Depends on how you're playing. But I think it'll be great. I think that.
So you never have any pickleball fist fights?
Sir?
No pickleball fist fights?
Not lately. There was one up in there was one up in New Jersey. It was really good. These 2 guys got into it and pulled a guy over the net. They started fighting.
Dragged him into the kitchen, did they?
Yeah, it was something about they didn't believe the guy stepped in the kitchen. It was really stupid, but
Well, I see.
Yeah, they'll start that on ESPN 28.
Right.
No,
Went to a-
I'm absolutely kidding.
Went to a fight and a pickleball game broke out.
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
well, they're fighting at basketball games now, fighting at softball games now. It's just really.
Well, I see you guys still setting up your temporary net over there at Aquarius Park all the time.
Oh, yeah. There's a couple of people that keep it going at Aquarius Park. They're really keeping it over at Parker Park. Every Tuesday morning they're playing, but
Really?
guy over at what's his name is Joe. He puts it up on a website. Everybody looks at it, and you sign up to go play. And he does it at Aquarius like 2 or 3 times a week now.
Well, now, so you've also got courts coming down on the seawall when the sandbox bar opens?
The only problem with the sandbox, that's a great. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. They just put the courts in wrong. They put them in east and west. And
So
so
you'll
you
be
got the
looking at
sun
the
going
sun?
and coming.
Oh, east-west.
You play at noon.
Sir?
You have to play at noon.
Yeah,
when the
so
sun's right
straight
overhead.
up above. It's going to be a little tough, but if you're drinking there, it's not going to make a difference.
Right.
You know.
So you're going to have 4 full-time courts at Commodore's.
Correct.
And up to 12. You can do tournaments there.
Well, there's
that
going to
many
be
courts?
enough for tournaments if we get everything lined up like we want to get it lined up. And I'm meeting with our new District 4 council person, Kaylin. She and I are meeting tomorrow. But really and truly, there's a couple of people. Dan Suckley was the one who I originally was working with on this, and
Yeah.
he really pushed it. And I think Kaylin grabbed on and
She's going to
pushed
be
it
here at
through
8
the rest
o'clock.
of the way because we probably could have lost our
She's going
money
to
on
be
that.
in at 8 o'clock today.
Yeah.
On the show.
Oh, she is?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, there was, Dan, I wrote a thing this week. Dan Suckley was instrumental in getting this stuff on the seawall going.
Right.
And there's some work, that work is moving forward. So, the Commodore's Park, we've been trying to get tennis courts. Before there was such a thing as pickleball.
They're in the plan.
Well,
Yeah.
there's 2 courts.
I know, but I mean, we've been trying to get tennis courts out here for 15 years.
Ever
Bobby.
since the what's it called,
Bobby
the
Hill Park.
water park closed down, they had courts over there when we first moved here.
Those were left over from the country club.
Yeah,
Right.
from the country club. So it'll be fun to have those tennis courts and have the pickleball courts right there. I just want to make sure that they're all headed in the right direction. And
Yeah, but you can thank Gabby and myself because the orientation. If you're on the downwind side, you're having to slug it back upwind. So
well, we got to have them facing north and south.
right,
And we got to
that's it.
have wind. That's what I was going to talk to Kaylin about. I want to make sure that all the details are there because when they
Right.
did Parker Park, they didn't complete it.
right.
We can play over there, but the courts are stacked, and so that means there's no divider between the 2 courts, and balls are rolling over there. And if you go to Al Cruz or any of the other public courts, they divide them up. And they said they were going to do it when they were going to put the dog park in. Well, that was at about the same time that Dan was leaving, Kaylin was coming. There was nobody to really push through that.
Yeah.
So it didn't get done. Well, I want to make sure that we get everything at Commodore's Park that we need to have it a successful, it's got to be usable.
Yeah. Well, it's a good location. Everybody
Oh,
can
yeah.
get there easily. I'm glad that it surprised them that they broke ground on it as quickly. when
Well, they
had-
were supposed to break ground on it last September.
Well, yeah.
That's what I was.
So we're ahead of the game.
Yeah, when they didn't do that, I was like,
In island speak, I mean, compared to the muddle and puddle underneath the concrete.
Yeah.
yeah, nothing ever gets really done in the same timeline. There's always something. But I understand Jacobs Engineering is the one who's doing the construction on this. And if I'm not mistaken, they're also doing this church over here. So they're bringing their equipment to do this church over by Sonic Burger.
Yeah.
And they'll be here. So that's a good thing. They'll have all their equipment here. They can start on this. Hopefully we'll get it, get it
Well,
done.
good.
It shouldn't take more than 4 months, 3 or 4 months. We should have them by summertime, I would think.
It was a big week for construction on the island. I spoke to Troy Adler, the head of the County Parks Board, Coastal Parks Board this week, and they're talking about getting ready to go out for bids on the restaurant on the pier.
Yeah.
They're going to start working on that. They've let the contract for it, and they're going to start working on it sometime here in the next couple of months, and then start looking for an operator, go out for
Well,
RFPs on an operator.
on the pickleball courts at Al Cruz and HEB Tennis Center, they're part of the city.
Yeah.
They're redoing all the lights, and so they're going out for bid on the lights for for Al Cruz now too. I know they just did it for HEB.
Right.
And they got the lights set up.
I don't think they're going to put lights at Commodore's, are they?
Yes, they are.
Oh, they are?
Yeah, it's going to be lit.
I thought that was in the plan, right?
Yeah, it's in the plan. We
Okay.
want to make sure it's in the plan, but initially it was. It'll be it's going to be a great community project, I think, even with, there's a small, like a pavilion, there's a basketball pavilion.
It's
and then there-
covered.
Sir?
I think it's covered, isn't it?
Yes.
The shaded.
It's
That'll
covered.
be good. It'll get a lot of use. There's supposed to be walking trails, I think,
There
down
is,
in there
2
too.
miles. A
Okay.
2-mile track all the way around it. I think that's included in Phase 1. I'm not sure, I guess this is all of Phase 1 is going to be the track, the pavilion, the
I put a
tennis
list
and
in there. I
pickleball
don't remember.
courts. And it looks like the skate park has been moved from that location to a different location.
Yeah, skate park is gonna go at Billish, and
Yeah.
that came up at the ISAC meeting this month. They're in the design phase of that. They've
Right.
got a subcommittee of local people that know how to build skate parks.
Right.
And so that thing is funded, and the design it's probably going to start getting built here before we know it. The same with the Briscoe King Pavilion. They're talking about now. They did the last of the funding. We can talk to the councilwoman about that when she comes in. They're talking about starting work on that in the next couple of months.
That's great.
So all of a sudden, everything got. I guess it's an election year. I don't know. Maybe that's what it
Right,
is.
yeah.
So the deal with Briscoe, I think, are they doing the structure first and then finish out with the parking lot? I would assume.
I don't think they funded the parking lot. have
Yeah,
they?
No,
they
they
don't have
didn't.
funding for the parking lot yet. So
Have they funded this over here, under the bridge?
What?
Yes.
there's been funding for that for a long time. I didn't know. Squirrel Cage just hit us there. Do we want to finish Briscoe? Or we'll wait for Kalen. How's that?
Yeah. Oh no, let's
That's
just get the
fine.
TERS 2 to pay for everything.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Well,
yeah, that's
there's-
what we usually end up doing. I
To
mean,
answer
come on.
your question, they said at the ISAC meeting there's $2.1 million in bond money for under the bridge,
That's
Front of
right.
the bridge.
and
They were at 65% design in July, and suddenly in December they were only at 60% design. I'm not sure how that worked.
that's
but
kind of the history.
Is it
of
always
that
the same
project.
design company?
No.
But
No.
but there's been a design done over there. For
We did a
years.
design back in 2015.
Yeah.
And the new design looks amazingly similar to the design that Jeff Edmonds and I did back in
So
2015.
Jeff's
when he
coming
was
on the
working
show
for
next
UFO.
week, so we'll get into some details of that.
Oh, that's great.
Talk to him this
Jeff
week.
and I can sit down and we could probably take up the full
But
2 hours.
But they're saying there was a list at one point, and I don't know if it's still a current number. They were talking about going out for bids at the JFK in May of this year. I don't know if that's still on the table. But between that and you have the finishing up of Bob Hall Pier, the beginning on the restaurant at Bob Hall Pier, the RFPs to get an operator in there, and then Briscoe King Pavilion and Commodore's Park, everything's going to be under construction all at the same time.
Right. One of the things with Briscoe King, people are like, wait a minute, an extra $2.1 million? Did you not see that coming? As they got into it a little bit more with FEMA flood elevations and their permitting, they realized that they had to put the piers down in the dirt in the substrate a little bit deeper and build the site up a little bit more. Like if you tried to go build Briscoe King today, you couldn't do it because of the FEMA elevations, right?
Isn't that these people's job though? Don't they?
They know that to begin with.
Yeah, that was my thing.
Don't get me started. I didn't say this, but this is what happens when you start with an architect and not an engineer.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point.
Oh, we're going to get tomatoes for that.
Well, but I heard, but that was
that one.
yeah.
Well, you know, and I love the new design. I think it's brilliant. There's nothing wrong with
That's
the new
great.
design. And I,
Build it.
you know, I want this, and the community needs it. You know, but
Go, build
it's
it.
like it just. Oops, there's another $2
Oh,
million.
that's what Dr. Gully was saying last week. He's
Yeah.
saying like, well, how did you not know that there's
just
you need
a fire line.
fire line there? How do you not know that?
That's
Yeah.
because what Jay is saying, you start with the engineer. I heard the same thing this week. The parking lot down at the State Aquarium, and they came in and asked for $2 million, and then as they started pushing, the council started asking questions. It came out, well, we don't really know what it's going to cost. We just don't think it's going to be over $2 million. So give us $2 million, and then we'll let you know.
Then we'll let you know.
And
yeah.
it seemed like same thing. I thought, well, why don't you get a couple $100,000 and go do the design, and then come back with a number? But
Yeah, no.
you got it's firing ready.
Yeah.
So
Turns out,
First
like,
season.
like you mentioned earlier, we've got an island under construction here.
yeah,
And-
everything's coming up
and-
all at once.
Well, the question that I have is what all that's getting worked on right now will be done by hurricane season? Because I know that's a huge.
Well,
Well, I can tell you one of the major things that probably won't be done by hurricane season.
Opening the canals.
No, try again.
hurricane
Briscoe,
season will take
obviously.
care of that.
Briscoe, yeah.
Yeah, Briscoe, obviously. I had the drone up yesterday. Got a few good shots of Bob Hall. It's looking good.
Probably the Seagate.
Yeah. Seagate not going to be done by.
Seagate won't be
yeah.
done by hurricane season anytime soon.
But we've also got some work on the seawall. That's
yes, and
Absolutely,
that-
so
I
yes.
wrote about that this week because there was.
I didn't get to edit your article. Did you
Yeah.
even send it to me? I
no,
was on the
I
road
wrote it
yesterday.
late. I was jamming on my deadlines.
Okay, did
yesterday.
you get it right?
I hope so. When in doubt, broaden your language, right?
Yeah,
but basically, the message is there was some consternation about whether or not there's funding in the TERS, and I don't think that's an issue. I think the work is going to it'll proceed apace with what can be done on an annual basis. I think it's okay. And then it's one of the things I wanted to have Jeff Edmonds talk about. He said at the last ISAC meeting that there's $2 million in FEMA money that came.
2.1, yeah, that was an overage for Pack Creek Channel. So I think it was part of a match that the city had to put up, so they moved. They're
Right.
just moving it back, which is great. I mean, that's enough to get us started to get some of the the more damaged sections done. So
Yeah.
I mean, 15 million. We can't do. I mean, if we hired every crew in the city, we could do 15 million in 1 year. But it's just
Yeah.
gonna. Plus, we're waiting on the permit and things like that. So
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think, it was one of the things I wanted to talk about to Jeff about, but the city gets bashed a lot for things stalling out or not getting done. This is a case where they took the bull by the horns.
They did.
This has been a 30-year
It was
problem.
huge. Yeah.
And they stepped up to the plate here and took over responsibility, and they've acted and followed through, and it's moving forward. They're doing a good job.
Yes. It's too easy to bash the city. Oh, and when Jacob and I laughed. We all laughed. When it's like, when's the city going to finish Bob Hall Pier? It's like, okay, when people make comments like that, they're not paying attention to who's actually doing what.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you don't see a lot of things behind the scene, things that staff has been working on for a long time. The red tape that they have to go through, just like the rest of us have to go through.
Well,
So,
that's another reason why you listen to great programs like this, like Island Island Moon Thursdays to stay informed on what's going on behind the scenes. You get to listen to all these people that are really in the know and talking. I mean, Peter was great on Larry's show. Was it yesterday or day before?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's awesome. I love being able to have, it's a long form conversation. It's not a little news snippet.
No.
You can actually sit there and talk about projects, things that are going on. And
Peter is great. I mean, as far as city managers have gone in the past, he is hands-on a lot of. He's at least
Yeah.
informed.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily trying to micromanage, but he is very aware of the bigger projects that are going on with city staff. So, I mean, keep going, Peter.
Well,
a lot of people like to bash him, but I say keep going and keep him around.
well, look at the alternative. It's either having someone who's involved or not involved. And I've lived in cities that have city managers that are just
And then staff runs amok.
Yeah.
Amok.
Yeah.
Well, we've just got a lot of things happening at once. I was surprised when I started calling around this week. Not only what caught my eye was the pickleball courts at Commodore's Park when I saw the groundbreaking, but then
February 12th.
yeah,
Yes.
10
That'll be
o'clock.
fun.
you could drop a bomb on that place and take out half the politicians south of San Antonio.
Yeah, no kidding.
What's that about 3 weeks before Election Day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, scarily
that?
enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. huh.
Seems kind of weird.
That
dude,
is
that-
kind of interesting. Yeah.
that we've been ready to crack ground on this. I mean, you could do a groundbreaking and have equipment moving in the background, right?
That would be even better. The city let the contract in November.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
they did.
Yeah. So the pickleball courts would be dry by now.
I remember when they broke ground on
And it's a good contractor, too.
on Sleater Bond.
And heaven forbid we not move at the speed of government. But I mean, all that being said, there has been a lot that's been accomplished. So I can sit here and complain all day, but I'm not the one doing it, and things are getting done. So I'm.
Right, and it comes
Yeah.
down to, Commodore Spark especially is a good one. I've got to hand it to Sergio from the City Parks Department. He's been really riding herd. Once
Yeah.
they gave it to him, he pushed it
He
down.
took it off.
Pushed it down the road, and then, but unfortunately, or not fortunately, or however it works, the contract goes through engineering. So it's like, okay, he had to hand the baton
Yeah.
off, and engineering got it done, procurement and all that. So, but get
Well,
going.
you've got it's hard to keep track of everything because when it gets into the city. We talk about the city, but the city is a multifaceted organization. It's
Well, and also the city parks did a reorganization about 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. And so all the people realigned except Sergio, I think, because he stayed in pretty much the same position, which helped a lot because when people switch from one position to another,
And you lose the institutional
Yeah,
knowledge, exactly.
you really lose.
Well, you've
So,
got the city, then you've got the county parks board.
Right.
Then what goes through there has to go to the county commission for funding, and then a lot of these things either started or went through the ISAC committee over the years. So there's that.
It started at
that
ISAC.
facet of it. Yeah.
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, ISAC is kind of where the ideas come from because they're more getting more feedback directly from the public, and also the city council. To their credit, over the years, the various city councils have depended on ISAC to vet island projects, and that's worked well, and that's been the case with Commodore.
Right. I just got a note from our engineer, Craig Thompson, and I, with Hanson and I, were working on the seawall. I'm doing the permitting. And Craig said that, he said, now mention the concrete companies that we met with said they could absolutely build it in a year.
Yeah.
So maybe we are waiting on funding. So
Build what?
the seawall.
Oh, the
Well, they're
seawall.
So what we're going to do on the seawall, for those of you who don't know, is the seawall, as John Michael says, is the perfect form to repair itself, right? So they're going to build a form that has, steel mesh in it. They're going to put pins in the existing seawall, and then they'll pour right over the cap, right? And so they'll do that in sections with the form. So they'll pour it, then they got to let it sit for a day, then they can pull the form off, move it over, do the same thing, put your steel mesh down and put pins in it. That way it's anchored to the existing seawall, and then just kind of hopscotch like that. Plan is obviously to address some of the worst broken areas first that have the exposed rebar. Get those coated. They'll obviously put a coating on that and stop the rust there, and then just kind of hopscotch with that. And this phase, obviously there's several different phases dependent on funding. They're going to cut in some more stairs, so there'll be stairs in front of every existing like condo or whatnot. And then they're going to add in 1 to 2 more ADA ramps, like the one that's in front of the Michael J. Ellis seawall.
Right.
There'll be another one on the south end, another one on the north end.
And then they're gonna
Also a big Dan Suckley project. I mean, he really wanted to get that done. I think
Yeah, there's a lot of people that have been
Yeah.
carrying that water for a lot of years.
I
put it
went
that
into
way.
some of that history and thing I wrote this week because if you moved here after 2005, you may not even know there's 8 steps on the seawall.
I know. when we did some, but when somebody did some potholing recently, and we dug down, the steps that are covered and buried, they look like the day they were poured.
Really?
They're absolutely beautiful all the way down, and the very base of it is like a 36 by 36. It's huge.
The sand has covered it up.
The sand that's covered up is actually protecting it. Come to
Since
find out.
2005, when Packery was dug and they put the sand on the beach, it covered up the seawall. And what didn't cover up the seawall blew back in the channel and got dredged out again and put back on the beach.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle. That's what they're doing at Mansfield right now. Yeah, at the Mansfield
and
jetties.
so I guess they'll just dig down and expose the bottom part of the seawall as they repair it, and the sand will probably cover it back up, right?
Right. There's actually 2 different methods that we've talked about. Is only doing it like halfway down, just the parts that are exposed and not looking well, or
Yeah.
doing the entire cap. I don't know.
And we still
We'll
have
figure out what Craig wants to do.
We still have Mount Packery out there at the end of Zahn Road. I mean, is there plans to get
Okay,
the rest of Mount Packery?
So the
in-
plans for Mount Packery, come to find out what they did with half of it last year, they actually thought about this. So they have a permit for 5 years to do this, to move that sand over. Their logic was to move part of the sand over in front of the seawall right before Barefoot Mardi
yeah.
Gras to widen the beach. That
Right.
way we could go on the seawall. So that may be being held in reserve for this year's Mardi Gras parade.
February 28th,
Which, it's coming up.
go.
which is it's in Lent, I believe, is it not? So be careful what you give up because there's going to be a parade.
Yeah, no.
Just don't give up
You have to-
parades.
have
and
to
you're
plan
gonna
ahead.
be okay.
But they had to do it late because I say we should promote it. We're the only Mardi Gras parade in the United States where we have to plan around the tide charts.
Right. Okay, so, and I just got a note from Sergio. Thanks for listening, Sergio.
Awesome.
They listen to us all the time. He said, notice to proceed will be issued on January 22nd for Commodores.
There you go.
And then groundbreaking, of course, on
February
February
12th.
12th. Yeah.
Will there be gold
Exactly.
shovels?
You know it.
I bet there
There
will.
will
Where
be
do you
gold
get 'em?
shovels.
You just get gold spray paint.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you show up with a gold shovel and a hard hat, you could probably get in line with everybody.
I'm
Just
just
follow
standing there.
it. Well, they told me to be here. Just got to make sure you
It'll
got
be
the
a-
right shovel.
It'll be a sand flinging event.
Yeah.
Will there
is
be
it
little-
a gravel shovel or is it a
stone
sharpshooter?
shovel,
Or, yeah.
sharpshooter.
Well, no, they're like pickleball paddles.
I think
right?
they used a spade, a regular spade.
Well, that's good news. So phase 2, I guess it will be probably funded. Is already funded or is being funded?
Well, that as you know, it was partially funded by TERS 2 and partially funded by Bond, and so
I thought it was all bonds. Okay.
no, the design was by TERS 2,
Okay.
in part by TERS 2. So, yeah, we'll see what the appetite is for that when we get closer to phase 2. And again, I got to shout out to Sergio. He packed as many of the components in as he could in phase 1. So to get
Well, that's
more
something
bang for
that's
the buck.
been that's our biggest park on the island, if I'm not mistaken. 19 acres, and there's 12 acres left to be developed, and it's just been sitting there growing stickers for all this time.
Yeah.
And
Just
so it's
unused.
great.
Well,
It's
that
good
and-
to see something happening.
Well, that and Aquarius Park, but it seems like everything that tries to happen at Aquarius Park just gets kind of batted down for some reason.
Except pickleballs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they just converted that. Well, and I will say good morning. It's 8 o'clock. Bright and early, kind of early for some people. If you're a musician, it's early. If you're one of us, you're halfway through your day. Right here on KUKA Driscoll, Texas, 105.9 and 103.3. Also on Retro Tejano 104.1. Corpus Christi's Retro Country and Retro Tejano. My name is Jacob Oggs. It's a beautiful day from Doc's Seafood and Steaks. David Eckenrode joining us, Jay Gardner, Tyler
Hey.
Thorson, David Carr is here. There's a Debbie Noble sighting. Dale Rankin is here, and we're excited that everybody's kind of out running around. And one thing I gotta say, man, earlier when I was driving over here was kind of like, man, you know, my truck's getting kind of old. Maybe it's time to get into something else. And you know, like I need a new fleet vehicle. Got a 4x4, and I tow from time to time. The man to talk to is Frank DeBank over at Discount Motor Company. They're at a 6601 SPID right next to Turner's and the movie theater. Go talk to Frank. You know, don't go to one of these places to sell your car. Well, they'll just give you pennies for it. And, you know, or if you want to get into something else, don't just go run around and try and say, oh, yeah, let me talk to someone. And, they say, the salesman's like, let me talk to my manager. And then they talk to their manager. And it just, leave the hassle behind. Go talk to Frank. He'll give you more than CarMax, $500 more than CarMax for that old car or truck. And it's definitely worth going over to take a stop by and check it out. And you can also check out jfkcausewaycam.com to see the latest traffic conditions and everything on the causeway. But we've been having a good conversation this morning, going over a bunch of different things. I had the drone in the air yesterday, got a bunch of kind of updates on island projects, and it was a gorgeous day yesterday. It's nice, a little breezy today, but if you're from Corpus, that means nothing to you. It's a piece of cake, right?
All right. Well, if you get a chance, they're saying that the Bob Hall Pier should be open to the public sometime here in the next few weeks. Go over and take a look at it. It's really nice. They're waiting on the light poles. There's not going to be lights because there's a supply chain issue with the light poles.
You know, we'll get there.
But the pier is really well done.
So have you noticed any sand building back up?
Absolutely. Have you noticed
around the pier
immediately? I mean, so
Well, because that was the whole deal with not getting the insurance for Michael Mays because it had gone offshore.
Yeah.
The reason it went offshore is because they took the pier down.
No, it started accreting sand almost immediately, and the Fisher people figured that out immediately.
Yes, they did.
they worked barely past the first gut, and
Really?
it's accreting sand, and it creates kind of a vortex there. And
Sexy bars.
Yeah, and it attracts fish immediately. Any kind of structure, we were talking about that with Nick earlier, any kind of structure, one piling,
Yeah.
he said had 20 redfish on it. So
Yeah, the tarpon were the juvenile
tarpon were out
thick
there. Good grief, yeah. And
At the
we
end
didn't
of it?
get out.
No, just all
Yep.
right
Right
the
there
end of
at
it,
the
all
around.
up and down. There's snook, what you name it.
They are
So
structure
people have been
oriented
fishing
fish.
it?
They by boat and by walking
Oh,
up.
Oh yeah, all the above.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I really wanted to get to before I have to give up my chair to somebody else, and I was hoping that Kaylin would be here, and hopefully she's listening. I went to a workshop the other day and ran into our friend Robert McDonald, who is the local head of the MPO, right, the Metropolitan Planning Organization. We've had $17.9 million on the table in their plan for construction. For pedestrian safety, a pedestrian safety corridor from Aquarius, the Sonic side of Aquarius, all the way through Whitecap, right? That is for construction dollars. What needs to happen is the city needs to step up and do the planning and engineering for that, and then the MPO will put in the 17.9. There she is! Ah.
Is that the island mobility plan?
That is in conjunction with the Island Mobility Plan. That is actually the Metropolitan Planning Organization that gets money funded through TxDOT, right?
Oh, so that's where you got to go through them or done.
Right. So, Galen.
David Eckenrode, again, special thank you to everybody who's had a big part in getting pickleball out to the island, and special thank you to you for all your hard work. And glad you were able to jump on the air and take a little victory lap this morning.
We'll see.
I'm
Get you
gonna
a gold paddle.
Yeah, get your gold
Yeah,
paddle
you
and
should.
show up.
We'll
Yeah,
see.
well, thank you again for having
I
me. It
would
was
do
really
that,
great.
yeah.
We'll see you at the
It's been a-
groundbreaking.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it's at this point,
Yeah,
finally.
outstanding. It's good. There's a lot of fun stuff happening on the island.
Thank you for
Good
being
deal.
here,
Good to
David.
see you, David.
We're also getting
Stay out of trouble.
We're also getting a new kind of event space, I guess we'll call it. It's more of a
Over
parking
at
lot
Whitecap.
/ gathering place over at Whitecap MPI, which should be fun because they've had, they do their holiday lighting, they do kind
Yeah.
of farmers markets and all that out of their lot right by the sales office.
Yeah.
have a food truck there this
and-
Friday.
They're
Oh,
gonna
and a food truck on Friday. Awesome.
yeah, they're gonna move the island market over there, I think, and it's a nice space. It's something that we need, and they've been doing it in the parking lot, but it's not very big.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
interesting.
been there. They've been working on it for about a month, and it looks like it's getting close to being done.
That's fun. That's fun. City Councilwoman Kaylin Paxton for District 4 joins us this morning. How's it going?
Good morning. Going well, going well. How are you guys?
Good. All right. I'm stoked about this weather. I mean, I think we're going to get some more clouds and stuff coming through, but when it's nice down here in winter, it is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Like
It's
waking
fun.
up out here, it's like, can you believe that we live here? We're not just visiting. Like, it's crazy to me.
I
don't
say
know.
that too.
We live on permanent vacation.
Exactly.
We had a lady came down for the Boar's Head Festival, and she said, "I'm so glad I moved here." She moved here from Montana, or from Boise, Idaho.
Oh, wow.
And she said, "Well, Texans most of the time, they're very friendly and very accommodating." And I said, they'll if you don't know they're from Texas, they'll tell you at some point that they are from Texas because they're so proud." And so she was so excited to be here and loves the weather. She didn't like it cold. I said, "Well, this is okay with us, like 65, but we appreciate the weather and living here."
So, Kaylin, you guys put the last piece of funding in place yesterday for Briscoe King. Mm-hmm. And I suppose it's got one more reading, but it'll just be on a consent agenda, probably.
Right, and then it's done.
And so now it goes ready to go out to bids.
Yep, that's exciting. I mean, I know that there's been a lot of discussion about it, but I do really believe that it is a... God, Jay, don't die.
He gets so excited talking about it.
Yay, Briscoe King! Sorry.
He's going to be the biggest cheerleader.
Yeah, coffee went down.
He named his dog Briscoe.
Yes.
See, I love that for you.
No, so the next step is out for bids, right? Mm-hmm. And then are they kind of giving a timeline on construction? What are people thinking? Within a year?
Right. Within a year is what I believe is the timeline on that. I know the county's going to do all the bids, all of that. We're just helping through that.
Yeah. So for the record, this is on county property at Bayou Park.
Mm-hmm.
So the city has some involvement with it, but it's basically a county project. Right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
The city, the funding, because it's TERS money, has to go. It goes through the council. But
Okay.
I spoke to the county Parks Board president this week, the chair, and the bid is out for the restaurant, and Briscoe King is about to go. So they're talking about starting construction on both.
And I believe
the
we're gonna
next
have Troy Adler on. Now that I said his name, he's got to show up.
Yeah.
We'll have Troy Adler on next week to get an update from the County Parks Board on a bunch of that stuff, because there's still a lot of questions that people have, which
Right.
and we published some of the designs in the Island Moon a little while ago. Some of them were the initial kind of like concept art, you would call it, but we have one part of the diagram that actually showed how they're going to set everything up, and then also the work that they're going to do to the existing building.
Yeah, they're doing some renovations in there.
Well, I was watching the council meeting on Tuesday, and you guys were having a lengthy debate about how long to let people who are not residents speak when they come up before the council. Where did that all land? I turned it off before it got to resolution. It went on for a while.
It did.
Gripping as it was, I wasn't able to.
That public comment has definitely been a topic of discussion for this term.
Oh my goodness.
Where it left off was basically, if you come to City Hall to speak to the council, then you would be awarded 3 minutes. So
Awarded.
yeah, I mean, sorry, maybe that's a bad word.
So
But
even
it's become such an issue because
I know.
we sell water to 7 counties, and so that was, I think, one of the big points that consistently has come up is people will come down to speak, and they said, I'm a water customer, I would like to have some input on all this, and then they get 60 seconds, which is barely enough time to say your name. And
So what was the decision that came out?
So the
3
decision
minutes
was
for everybody.
3 minutes for everybody. If you come to City Hall in person, now if you're, there's still the provision that you can join public comment remotely. So if you're phoning in or video calling in, and you're not from this state, you're going to get the 1 minute. I think that there's been some issues, luckily not in my time on there, but there's been some issues where you'll have some groups from out of state just come and camp a lot of that time.
Yep.
And so we still wanted to be mindful of that.
Imagine that.
I had a release from one of I forget which agency it was, one of the city agencies this week, across my desk, and it said that our Our western reservoirs are down to under 10%.
Oh, whoa.
Choke Canyon and
We're talking water here?
Choke Canyon.
This is, last I checked, this is Island Moon Thursday.
And the lab, what caught
Tap the brakes, dude.
what
Just
caught
kidding.
my attention was, and I'd heard it before, but it says in there that in November of this year, on a daily basis, we'll be taking more water out of the city water system than we're putting in. Which is, that's not to call it a watershed, but when you reach that point, you got to have water.
Right, and I drove to Galveston and back yesterday, and I purposely looked at all the rivers. Texana's down.
Yeah.
The Colorado looks muddy, barely flowing.
Yeah.
Guadalupe, all that. I was like, oh, we're in
Yeah.
trouble.
What about the Navidad and all the? Where we're,
Yeah, the
Our
Navidad
east is down a
was-
little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there were cattle standing in the bottom of the creek bed
know.
going, "Hey, where the water?"
that was where we were going to go crappie fishing,
Yeah,
right?
right.
With the boat ramps over there.
So anyway, water. But I'm really glad you're here, and we really need to address this, Galen. The $17.9 million for the MPO for the safety and pedestrian improvements along the Park Road 22 corridor from Aquarius, the Sonic Aquarius, down to Whitecap, right? So we ran into our friend from the local MPO, Robert McDonald, right? And this project is in jeopardy. He's had his claws into this and Todd Hunter for a while because it was on the bottom of the list and it was in danger of falling off over the past 5 years. And it is in danger of falling off again. So the 17.9 is for construction only. And so the city needs to coordinate with TxDOT and get on that and do engineering and design, and then 17 million can go into construction.
So
This is going to be the linchpin that goes down. However, Robert, thankfully, he just learned from his higher ups in TxDOT that in March they're going to vote to jumble their projects around. That project is in danger of it's not going away, he said, but it's getting kicked down the road for 10 years, right? So it actually expires in 27 or 28 if we don't jump on it now. So that is something that needs to hit the front hopper.
Yeah.
What they have done in the MPO is they have adopted the Island Mobility Plan, of which that was a component. It's gone through public vetting and all of that.
Tons of meetings. Yeah.
Tons of meetings and all that. So it's got a lot of local support, which checks one of their boxes. But we need to get coordinating with TxDOT like sooner than later. So that mobility plan, I know you guys have had other things on your plate over the past like 3-4 months. We were hoping that mobility plan would get passed in like September, October, because it's been vetted by everybody and their dog, Briscoe. But so yeah, that needs to get, the mobility plan needs to get passed, and then staff needs to reach out, or somebody needs to reach out to the local TxDOT people, get the MPO in the room, and get that coordinated down the road. I'd hate to lose $17.9 million. Because once we do that corridor, you'll be able to get people in golf carts and e-bikes and all that and along that entire stretch. That will, because people can't get to, like sandwich shop and things like that without being in a vehicle or ducking traffic. So I think
we definitely need to prioritize.
I think once that corridor gets going, a lot of more businesses will pop up. The existing businesses will do more. So
the changes to Park Road is pivotal to our overall mobility plan.
Right, and
but the problem is it's one of the biggest projects.
Right.
So this is.
And so, we need to get on that. I was kind of eye-raising. I was at the UCC meeting the other day. Robert told me that, and Ryan Skobarsik thankfully was there. And I said, Ryan, I grabbed him, brought him over, and I said, Robert, tell Ryan just exactly what you told me. And Ryan's eyes got wide too. He was like, okay, right.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you saw that. I wrote about it in my article
Yeah.
recently. Hopefully Ryan's working on it from the inside. So.
Well, I've been trying to. I've placed a call in to meet with MPO, and so I'll
Okay,
go through
great.
Ryan so that we can get up
Great.
to speed on that and push that through.
Yeah,
it's super important to get this.
Right, and I think engineering, one of the people from engineering is the TxDOT liaison. I'm not sure which one of the project managers is for that, probably the same one for Muddle and Puddle over here under JFK, if you can identify them. And
What
so
it-
get that going.
What's the status of that project, Caitlin, under the bridge here?
You know, Jay, the last update that you had sent over, that's the most recent one that I've gotten on the one under the bridge, the parking where we're still waiting on TxDOT.
Well, yeah, actually, what we're waiting on is the consultant to go from. We talked about this earlier. The consultant in July was at 65% design, and then somehow magically in November they were at 60% design. I don't know what happened there, but so
Bridge moved.
yeah. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking that the plans need to. I mean, it's a parking lot. I mean, how much design does it need to go into? 60% design looks good, and we also said that we actually had 60% design when Jeff Edmonds and I worked on that project
Yeah.
in 2015.
It was 10
And
years
that's what
it's
you
like-
and I have been talking about. So every time
Right.
you bring it up to the city, it's still at 60.
Yeah, right. So get that design 100%, move forward, and then get that contract let out, and then construction can get
Why
going.
is-
The money's there.
Why is the project taking so long?
That's the $1 million question. What I keep being told is we're in this holding pattern between us and TxDOT.
Right, which is not true, and I saw
Right.
that. I saw that from staff. What they did not realize is that when PM Neiman Marcus was here, he actually saw that there's a memorandum of understanding in between the city of Corpus Christi and TxDOT. Has been since 1979, and it
That's
was
right.
yeah, it was through 2032, something like that. Neiman was worried that we were going to put money in, didn't have like a 10, 20-year shelf life. He went in and got that extended with TxDOT. It goes to like 2052. So there's a memorandum of understanding in between TxDOT that says you can go build parking lots.
So
Now,
TxDOT is not the obstacle.
now, the plans have to be approved by TxDOT. They don't want you to attach anything to the bridge footings. They don't want you to impede
because
anything.
you don't want to compromise the structure of the bridge by putting something
Right.
on there, under there.
So the
that
$1
would
million
affect that,
question is,
obviously.
has
Yeah.
city staff submitted the 60% designs to TxDOT for their review? Don't know.
Well, we're approaching a bond package in November of this year. What do you want to see on that, Caitlin? What are you
On the
what
bond
are-
package?
Yeah, we're at the point. ISAC is starting to put their recommendations together, but ultimately it's going to have to go to the
Right.
council. So, what is it? What projects are you looking at for the bonds?
I know ISAC has some great projects that I want to include on there.
Right. So
And it-
yeah, our subcommittee came up with, and we talked about it the last ISAC. It's basically continuation of bonds. So it is.
Funny how that keeps happening.
Yeah, I know. You know, we keep the momentum.
Yeah.
That's what we realize, that we want to help city staff keep momentum
Yes,
going.
yes.
So it is Commodore's Park, which was bond 2022. It's JFK, which is bond 2018, and then Paper Streets. So we keep hanging fire with the Paper Streets, but Commodore's and JFK, we want to see those move
If
forward.
we can
so.
get those ones on there, and then there's a few others like Flower Bluff Drive, like the Yorktown. Yorktown's a big one. That's a very important one.
So Yorktown, what she's talking about is Yorktown from Mudbridge to Flower Bluff Drive or Waldron would be nice, because I drive that stretch in between Flower Bluff Drive and Waldron, and I can't keep it on the road.
That's the goal, is to go all the way down to
So
Waldron.
yeah, I want to take the mayor and the city manager and put them in my vehicle and give them a cup of coffee, only a half cup, not a full cup. I'll give them a half cup of coffee and go, okay, hold on.
It's
You don't even need to let a little air.
Yeah, no.
it's so bad. Literally every time
Jeez.
we're driving down that road and we have the girls in the car,
Mm-hmm.
the kids in the back seat are like,
Yeah, like you're yelling into a fan, you know.
But that's going to require some widening, so it's a pretty big.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big
The,
project.
the great thing about that stretch of Yorktown in between Mudbridge and Waldron is that there's no utilities in the street. So the utilities are out on the side, so that you don't have to do major reroutes or anything like that. But there will need to be some culverts,
Yeah.
especially in that stretch around Ramfield or whatnot, where there's like a 12-foot ditch.
yeah,
Whoa!
yeah.
Bro,
You could lose your
Yeah.
Civic in there.
Right. So when you're talking about 9x9 box culverts, the project gets really expensive really quickly.
Well, wasn't
so.
there was a meeting in Flower Bluff this week about a house catching fire, and there's an issue over there with, I guess, homeless people living in vacant houses.
Well,
It was a slow news day. I mean,
No,
this
so what
occurs.
happened, we had the regular meeting for the Flower Bluff Citizens Council,
Okay.
and their format is they invite the leadership for this jurisdiction to come out.
And city staff's been really good about that,
Yeah.
showing up to those.
We only had really one this last time. I need to follow up with Peter on that.
Yeah.
It was weird. But so basically they invite the community to come out, and in conjunction with having all the leadership there, it's like kind of discuss your problems, because there's always stuff that falls in the gaps between 311 and calling the city
Right.
hall and stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like air your issues and let's try to address it. And the biggest thing that the majority of people showed up to talk about was the fire on Scotland Drive. And so what became of the meeting, and I really enjoyed the meeting because organically it just kind of combined the community members, city leaders, Representative Todd Hunter was there, and we came up with this concept because we need to revisit the strategy from the past where we get a collection of these derelict properties. And there's so many issues that face this. I mean, you've got properties that people don't live there. You've got properties that the owners are out of town, they don't have an eye on it, that kind of thing, and so they just kind of run down, and there's no real local presence here. The city's hands are a little bit tied. If we can't make contact with the owners or something like that, there's only so much we can do to enforce on that property because it's private property. And so there's new legislation coming down from the state that empowers local jurisdictions over a little bit of this squatting problem that we've seen over the years. And so now
I was going to ask, so the problem is
Yeah.
that people are going into the vacant houses and living there, or they're in the houses.
Yeah, and what we see is when the temperatures drop, people go in and they're seeking some shelter from the wind, and then they're lighting some form to keep warm, and then I think they kind of just leave it there where
Yeah.
it's on, and there's nobody babysitting it in a rundown property, and it catches fire. And so working with the Citizens Council, we'll be able to put together like a list of these properties and meet with PD and get a strategy to contact the owners and that kind of thing. So I'm real hopeful for some
Well,
improvement
you
there.
have to be careful. You know, sometimes you leave a house empty like that, you'll end up with 76 cats and one
Oh my goodness.
The houses don't have to be empty for that.
So,
Or like Paul's condo, townhouse,
yeah.
on the island.
What do you always say, Tyler?
Recently abandoned.
Flower Bluff Charmer. We've got this recently
Recently abandoned
abandoned Flower Bluff Charmer on the list here.
Fixer upper.
Pride of ownership shows throughout this.
I'm imagining the drone footage.
Yeah, there's a couple on Sweet Bay I can think of.
Hey,
We've got a few more things to get to here with District 4 City Councilwoman Kaylin Paxton. We're going to take a quick radio break, and we'll be back in a minute.
What's your case worth?
But we are
What's your
still
freedom
on-
worth? Your property, your livelihood.
we're still on. Yeah.
Hi, YouTube.
Right, so we
Thanks
can
for
talk
that.
about things offline. No,
Yeah, I need to follow
staff's doing really good. We just need to keep up with them a little bit more. That 17.9 million, that was really eye opening. That we need to
So
need
that
to
just
get on
needs
that.
to go to the council for a vote on the mobility plan.
That's it. It's been teed up for a while, and it's been revised several times, and it's a living document, right?
Yeah.
So we just need to get it passed, and then we can get on a revising schedule. But everything in there is great. I mean, the
I think
paper streets are in there.
A problem is when we lost Heather,
Yeah.
there was what I've experienced is in these different divisions where we lose our ACMs,
Yeah.
a lot of it gets picked right back up and taken into stride, but that's a big gap that when someone leaves that.
I know.
And so
We miss Heather.
I've gotten I haven't gotten
No-
anything
no-
through
no-
my desk
no-
that's ready to go to council.
No
in other
diss to
words.
any of the other
Yeah.
ACMs, but
No,
yeah. No, I gotcha.
She was great. Yeah.
Well, so what else is so the three things that ISAC has prioritized, but only the paper streets really could go on the bonds from those three, right? So what else?
They are magically within the TERS as well, so it could
Right.
be a cost share kind of deal in between bond and TERS. I mean, if we have any money, we may be negative 400,000
Right.
in 2028.
Well,
We're
like
not
where I
sure.
was going with that
Is that
what
with the FEMA reimbursement?
Well, no, the FEMA reimbursement's going into the seawall to make up for moving things around. So
I have a meeting with Peter today to talk about funding sources for the seawall.
Great.
He mentioned
Elizondo, the Godfather,
So,
who
listening
makes street
earlier,
sense
on Seawall.
common
I had
sense.
originally misspoken.
Now,
Yes,
live
you
from
heard it
Doc
here on
Seafood and
YouTube, it's not on
Steaks.
radio.
It's Island
But
Menu Thursdays.
All right.
oh no.
And we are back.
Oh my gosh, we got hot mics again.
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
we
Yeah,
got
hot
hot
mics
again. But yeah, the 2.1, I was under the assumption that, you know,
we're talking about
because
Seawall
original
funding.
15, yeah, Seawall, that we couldn't spend 15 million in a year. But then I got corrected by my engineer, Craig, that said no, they could do all the repairs in 1 year. So we don't necessarily have to phase it.
Right.
So we could continue the work. Obviously, first
Well,
phases are.
the city manager at the last TERS meeting, I think it was in December, when they were talking about funding for Briscoe King and the subject of the seawall came up, and the city manager mentioned that it was either Type A or Type B sales money.
could be
Yeah,
used.
so the
Yeah,
Type B.
right.
So I had approached him back before the summer. I had contacted him and I said, I've looked through the parameters for this funding, and it's basically the bulk of it is for flood mitigation projects in the city. There's not boundaries on that funding.
Oh, but the seawall is not a flood mitigating structure. Jeff Edmonds is very
Right.
clear about that because he had to go back and forth. But anyway,
Because
Well,
then
I
it's not
actually-
eligible for FEMA reimbursement. or something.
right, exactly.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so I've actually talked a lot with Jeff Edmonds about being
Good.
able to utilize that fund, and he
Excellent.
says, yeah, that it should be very eligible. And so,
Jeff's a good guy. We like
Well,
Jeff.
they
Love
rewrote
Jeff.
it after it
Love
was
Jeff.
voted down the first time. They rewrote it and they broadened the language some.
I missed that first statement. What was that?
When the Type A went to the ballot the first time and didn't pass, they rewrote the language the
Yep.
second time and included streets and some other. I think it was flood control was the wording
Yeah.
or something like that. Which inadvertently brought in the seawall on the island, law of unintended consequences. Oh, wait a minute. We can actually spend some money on the
Oh,
island.
Exactly.
That was the American Bank Center
Right.
boondoggle.
Oh, that one.
was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
before your time.
Yeah.
That was before your time, but that was quite a boondoggle.
But
Oh,
there,
we've had our own boondoggle.
so we maybe,
I know.
so that could be the solution moving forward. If that, I think that tax, I believe the city manager said something happens in August. I don't know if the tax starts or the money
The
starts.
tax starts in April, so
April.
that's when that fund begins to fill. And so what my hope is, that's going to fill a lot faster than what we would have access to with
Sales
the TERS.
tax, right?
Yes, sales tax. And ideally, that's a project that we do as close to one sweep as possible out here.
Okay.
And realistically,
Okay.
with a
Gotcha.
price tag like that and the taxing not starting till April, we may have to take from a couple different sources to get as much of it done as we'd like. and
Why
a good
wouldn't you
go.
put that on the bonds?
The seawall?
Yeah.
I mean, we totally could, unless I can get it funded now.
Right, or if it comes from
Right.
Type B.
That's
mean, that's
exactly.
probably-
Whatever's faster.
Whatever's
Yeah.
faster. But to me, it's like this is eligible for
Hang
the whole
on.
city, and
Let's
the island
hang
needs
on.
representation. in
Well,
it.
this
Right,
is
yeah,
this
yeah,
is a
yeah.
need, not a want. You know.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
and we have to be
Yeah.
careful with what we pull from here and there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
But I mean, as projects go, that one is probably pretty close to the top.
It's very,
As far
very
as
important.
funding and you know, historically on the island, we've gotten the short end of the stick on bond projects,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one where it would seem like that would be an eligible project to put on bonds. Then you may not be the quickest, but you know the money's going to be there, and you know when it's going to be there,
That's true.
and you have enough money in the short term to keep working. You don't have to stop.
Well, now hang on. So bonds, you know that is a 2-year cycle, and so the money isn't exactly there when the voters pass the bond, if they
Right.
pass the bond,
But
right?
you've got
So it takes a couple of years to get through engineering, permitting, contract letting. That's not overnight. So
but you've got $4 million in the interim, right?
right, exactly. But if she could get Type B, that is a lot faster.
That's
So-
my hope.
Well, that's what
And
the city manager.
faster than TERS and faster than
Yeah.
bond.
That's what the city manager brought up, and I assume that the next TERS meeting, whenever that turns out to be, that'll be one of the topics of discussion.
That's what my instruction was, is to have a
Right.
presentation on it on our next. But so we have a meeting today to go over that because it did kind of become a big discussion at the last TERS meeting, and it is important. So when I get that information from him,
Okay.
we'll be able to share that, because that'll be a pretty good strategy to go forward to
And-
work with stuff this year.
And
next year.
I'm almost positive that TERS 2 has approved the Island Mobility Plan. I'd have to come back through there.
Long time ago.
Like last year or
But
something.
the updated one.
The updated one.
They approved the latest one that came through and
That's
sent it
right.
to council.
It was
It's
in
been some time
December?
ago.
December, I
ISAC,
think.
yeah, it's been vetted by everybody. So
Yeah.
in your meeting today, that would be great to bring up the Island Mobility Plan and the
And
MPO
get that back
money,
on the agenda. Yeah.
and
Well,
then sort out Seawall. Yeah, good.
Well,
Thank you.
if you've got that funding issue out there, then it needs to get going. That's what it sounds like.
Right.
Needs to get to the council. Well, what else, Kaylin, what else is on the agenda that we may not know about? What other projects? Is there anything else being considered for bonds? Is there anything going on with, what about the redesign of the intersection at Commodores and SPID?
That one, I haven't seen that one coming up on the bond this year. There's so much that the citywide is needing to put on the bonds. What we did this past year is we tried to really streamline some of those capital improvement projects before we passed this last budget.
Right.
Just because the cost for everything, we knew we were going to see an increase in certain utility forms, even though it wasn't ideal. We tried to go through and take some of that down, and that ended up going to be a bigger hit to us in other areas. So we tried to keep all that other stuff a little low. What that did is it's going to put some of those projects, hopefully, a lot of us would hope to get on some of those bond projects, but it's going to
Right.
be busy. It's a
And,
big
you
one.
know, Peter started off with saying, okay, next year's bond may not be quite as an aggressive of a program. And then after he said that, then our bond rating went down again. So we're going to
Well, he
get
said
less
this-
bang for the buck.
Yeah.
This week, it's going to be less than, I think it was 175 million was last time. Said it's going to be less this time. He didn't mention the decrease in bond rating, but he did say it's going to be less bonds this
Right.
time. Borrowing capacity is
And
not
that's
there.
out of his control.
That's why we have to
Yeah.
be super strategic with what we're trying to put forward on there. And so anything that we can get in other eligible.
Type B.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the bond rating was connected to the lack of water future.
No. And we're
No.
back to water
said
and
it was.
Dale.
It, drink. It,
But
it
yeah.
was, but it's like what they're saying is the fact that we're still in this, and the drought. It seems like that drought's going to be extended for the whole region. So everybody's kind of grappling with this. That's what's hitting us, and we had a little bit of a dip from the last 2 years of stuff.
Did the $9 million come from Type A for the water park downtown? You know, the fountains and all that stuff?
Oh,
or was that the
water
seawall?
I think that was TERS.
No, that's
No.
right. No, that was from that was from Type A. Right.
It was,
yes.
right?
And that's how we got into the shuffle, and that's how Seawall got the camel got its nose in the tent.
Well,
out
see,
here.
that
Yeah.
$9 million sure went fine for that.
Right. Yeah.
And
that was some really good
quickly.
creative. That was some really good creative. That's why we miss Heather. I mean, because Heather was able to get that going down the road, and she listened to city council's priorities and like, okay, well, we can do this with it. We can do this, but we can't do this with that anymore. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It sure
Well,
is super helpful.
As we move into, we're now in the election season,
Oh boy, here
Oh,
we
yeah.
go.
and
On the bright side, Bear for Mardi Gras coming up, and all the elections help sponsor all that stuff. So
Well,
we get money. We get money during
and-
election
and we
season. I
have-
gotta
Debbie
appreciate
brings
that.
a silver lining.
it's not official. This is just me speaking, but I believe this year any politician that enters the Mardi Gras parade with nothing but a magnetic sign on a golf
Yeah.
cart gets paintballed.
yeah,
You heard it here,
If you can't do better than that,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, yeah.
paintball for you, buddy.
You got to
Yeah.
throw something.
Yeah, you got to be creative. You got to decorate. You can't just put.
Well,
you
and
can't
you gotta
just
throw
say I'm
something
running
to the
for
crowd.
something. Yeah.
And
Yep,
if you're looking
yep,
for
yep.
some kind of awesome promotional products,
There you
then
go.
need
There's
to,
your segue.
You need to reach out to Ted at Impact Marketing. He is your Coastal Bend premier promotional products purveyor. They do everything from screen printing to embroidery. They got all kinds of stuff. Fishing shirts, coolers,
This
phone
right here.
chargers. Yes, they do custom embroidery
Yes.
on
Ted did this.
Nice
on your
shirt,
work
nice shirt.
shirts. They
Yeah.
do safety gear as well. So if you've got road crews or anybody that you're out working with, you need that, get some life vests or PFDs that are customized with your boat name on them. Make them look real snazzy. You can do that. Go see Ted. They're down at 423 Schatzel Street, downtown. Reach out to Ted at Impact Marketing CC. And when I actually, it reminds me, I need to go get back over there.
I have a pile of shirts in my back seat that I need to drop off to Ted. So.
Yeah.
And we usually do that during lunch. So go visit Ted and then go hit Surf Club for lunch.
Exactly.
Hey,
It's a
yeah.
very,
Nice little
very
treat.
convenient.
Do less.
Jacob, we really need to use the word snazzy more often. You've just reminded me.
I'm trying to bring it back.
We need to bring that back.
Yes,
Absolutely.
Yeah, that and Fortnite. Not the video game, the actual
you got
period
that-
of
Yeah,
2
you got
weeks.
that in
The
earlier.
the Shakespeare,
Yes.
the Shakespearean sense.
I think we need to gird our loins too.
Speaking of
we
which,
haven't girded in a long
speaking
time.
of which, I did get to see Tyler in tights the other day.
Yeah, true. He does it once a year.
Once a year. Oh,
That's-
Yeah.
So Tyler Boarshead was amazing. You
That
guys,
was fun, wasn't it?
you guys, it's
a great
if
show.
you have not seen, yeah, I know, Kaylin, I
You
saw
were
you
there
there
last
last
year,
year.
Yes.
If you guys haven't gone, you have to wait another year. It's is it the First Christian Church? Is it, what church is it again? It's on Santa
You were
Fe.
there?
I know, but I don't
I think
remember the
I-
name. Churches'
yeah.
names also
Yeah,
really.
it's the big one that has a big wall.
Over at Santa Fe.
Yeah, Santa Fe, that one.
Anyway, there are families that have been putting this on for over 40 years now. That's
Yeah.
how long this tradition is. The costumes are just amazing.
Really?
There are kings and minstrels and peasants and a choir.
Really,
and
really well
music,
done.
and
It's
insanely.
We could go as peasants.
Yeah,
Oh
right.
yeah, you
I-
could go spend.
We could go as heathens for sure.
No, they have
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have
yeah.
a poor guy on it. That
They
makes
have
you
a
really
special
believe it.
section for that. A good
they have
singer.
a homeless guy.
It's
Yeah.
off stage right. Yeah, exactly.
No, it
No, it's an
was
insane
fun.
production. It's completely free. They put on 3 shows, like 3, 5, and 7 in one day, and you can just go and
So-
watch it. It was
so
insane.
Tyler, do
and
you-
Tyler's in it, and he's wearing tights.
What
so
was
there
your
you go.
role?
That's all the reason you need to do.
Are you,
So
you a woodsman?
I was a woodsman.
Yeah.
Do you have your? Do you provide your own tights, or were tights provided for you?
Well,
Are they community tights?
they,
I know.
He's wearing them right now.
This took such a turn.
do they, yeah. I'm starting to scratch now. No, they're my own tights, but
Kaylin, sorry, occasionally we go squirrel cage.
Yeah.
Squirrel
No,
corner.
the tights were good, and it's the funny thing was they didn't have a costume that would fit me, so
Gentiles.
they
Yeah,
took
right.
some like somebody's old sofa. Like, hey, we got some old sofa
Oh.
material.
Upholstery, yeah.
Yeah,
Upholstery.
and then they have.
Yeah.
I have ye old tunic.
Here
now
comes
that I'm
Tyler
wearing.
looking like grandma's couch. That's awesome.
Is that like in the
There's a
sound?
runner on there too, you know, like don't spill any coffee.
That's like in the Sound of Music, where they obviously made all the outfits out
No,
of the
they
curtains.
they
yeah.
really those costumes are really
just
really
stunning.
Cool. They're
They
really
are.
expensive. We're not even allowed to eat in them.
I couldn't
Oh,
even
I'm
tell
sure.
it was a sofa. It looks great.
Well,
Yeah.
I can wear a sofa or a Davenport just as well as anybody.
There you
yeah.
go.
No, it's a good thing. And
Sorry,
thank you
Kaylin,
for all of it.
Anyway, you
Thanks for
you
coming.
did a great
Squirrel
job. You all
cage.
did a great job, and that was really exciting.
All kinds of fun events and stuff going around in the Coastal Bend.
Yeah, there are.
The next big one that we have is Barefoot Mardi Gras. If you've
Yes,
never
we
been
do.
to a Barefoot Mardi Gras, you owe it to yourself.
Yes.
We're also going to be, for those of us, everybody watching on YouTube, will be Island Moon Live. Will be broadcasting live from Barefoot Mardi Gras.
Somewhere.
That's
So
gonna
we
be
will-
somewhere.
Somebody will.
We'll have the
Yeah.
parade. We'll have the parade going on video.
I found if you go up on the seawall and look down upon when they're coming towards the seawall,
Right.
that was
Well,
a
I'm gonna
great
have
great
a,
place.
So Debbie, the only issue is that Jacob was like, oh yeah, maybe we'll go in front of Island House. Well, if the beach isn't wide enough, everybody's going to take a left at Whitecap. You'll be at
Yeah.
the end of the
Yeah, yeah,
parade
yeah.
route. Everybody will be
Yeah.
stripping their
Well, they're-
their tights off, and they're out
Yeah.
of meat
Right.
pies by then.
There you
and
go.
all
Debbie
that.
just solved it. Now we'll add hot tax to the seawall. I mean, this is a huge thing, and now it's
There
the
you go.
spectator
Oh,
zone.
man.
Down the spectator zone.
Might have
Well,
fluffed a few feathers there. I don't know. You're like, whoa, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, that's
yeah,
the
hey,
idea.
I hope
is-
you all are out there. Whoever's going to be in it, go. The website is live. The website has tons of great information. The registration form for your float's out there. So
Right,
go
and,
figure out what your float is, order your beads, get your crew together, go
kickoff.
register.
No,
Kickoff
what you
parties
need to
here
do
at
is
Knox.
get your float together ahead of time. Come join us at the Billy Sandifer cleanup
Yeah,
down
yeah,
Padre
yeah,
on
yeah.
the
Early.
seashore.
Then go to it.
Early, and then
Yeah.
Then
jam
come
back,
back.
and then get in your float.
I
and,
can't wait to see what Scott Electric comes up with this year. They've won the last 2 years with the most amazing floats. So
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what they come up with this year.
People go all out with the themes and everything.
So,
It's really
yeah.
neat.
They're-
Right.
they're-
It's a lot of fun.
Even
So-
even golf carts. People do amazing things with golf carts.
So
Yes.
what else are
Well,
you working on, Kaylin?
Yes, Kaylin.
Yes, well, we got you here.
Yeah, well, we got you here before she has to run away.
We
Hey,
get
are you
Yes,
going to
thank
be in
you.
Barefoot Mardi Gras?
Of course. You know, we had a Mardi Gras meeting last night, and I was sitting there, and it kind of was one of those moments, like, everything has been so busy this year, and I know that we've had some drama try to really steal the center stage, but there's been so many projects, so much happening. It's been so busy. Last night, I'm sitting there, I'm in a Mardi Gras meeting, and I was like, you know, it's kind of special to be, I think, the only ever city council member that is Barefoot Mardi Gras royalty.
I know.
And I took a moment to think about
There you
that.
are. I know.
Did you pick a new king and queen?
We did. It's top secret, though.
Yeah.
oh,
We
and
can't
saw-
announce it here on the radio.
I saw the last year's, and I asked him, and she said, "We can't tell you."
We can't tell you.
anybody. We
Yes.
can't
Now,
tell
and then
anybody.
if you come to the kickoff party on the 30th of January right here at Dock Seafood, you will find out who the new royalty is.
Yeah, that's going to be a big party. Oh,
That is gonna
I
be a
love
big
it.
party, and we're all
I love
excited
our
to
Mardi
find
Gras.
out. Yes.
See, Mardi Gras is one of those reasons this community is so special. It's so important.
Sure,
you know,
sure.
we're getting that big sidewalk project on Encantada. It's going to go all the way down to Gypsy, all the way up to Park Road.
That is
Nice.
Safe Routes
Awesome.
to School, and
Yep.
Renee Couture of city staff has been working on that tirelessly
Nice.
for a while. So
That's going to be a huge impact. I'm trying to work with them, make sure that we do the timing on that around the school year. That's going to be important.
Yeah.
Working on some signage.
Right.
I would really like to see some cool signage out here that's like beach this way, kind of like
Right.
they have in Port Aransas. So we're doing stuff like that.
And we also, on that same project, adding sidewalks and striping and stuff, we need to make sure to coordinate with city staff because at some point in time, maybe Encantada culverts will get replaced.
I was going to bring that
Yes.
up. What's the status of that? Is the city
So,
waiting on the POA
You guys
still?
have had meetings, right? So
So I got a call the first of the year from the PIPOA and asked me to come speak with them. And they had kind of gone back to their internal drawing boards. As you know, most of them have an engineering background. And so
various engineering backgrounds, but
various engineering, says our resident engineer.
right. So so in Encantada, this is really simple. So it is silted up on either side, right? And the PIPOA has been very adamant about they will not dredge. They're the only ones that have the Corps permit to dredge. If the city started yesterday to get an Army Corps of Engineers permit to dredge that,
Yeah.
it would be 4
4
years.
years, yeah.
4 years.
So why does the POA,
So the POA
have the permit but not want to use it?
Because they maintain
have
the
the
canals, and it's a
canals.
long-standing permit.
Bingo.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, but so why don't they want to use it?
so Debbie, this is really super simple.
Okay.
So if the sand is up to basically almost the edge of the road,
Yeah.
and you go in and put in culverts,
Yeah.
it doesn't do anything because the sand will just go whoosh right in the middle of the culverts.
Right.
What you have to do is you got to dredge first.
So-
Right.
if you dredge first,
Right.
then you can go in and replace the culverts. Our client actually has
So
a
it's
lot
so
of
who's
big
gonna-
culverts. Our client has a lot of big culverts on site and is willing to donate them. And we have $650,000 already dog-eared in TERS 2 to do the project.
Who?
Well,
okay,
we
so
had-
that's not come across my desk. The thing is that
That was
POA,
across your desk. You were the chair.
the one that has that there's culverts that could be donated,
There are
that has not
culverts
been
in-
shared with us. Though.
Okay, well, you heard it here on Island Moon Live first.
Free culvert, get your culverts.
Get
we
your
had-
culverts here.
There are culverts that can be donated for that project, ready to go.
And the PIPOA, it's not that they're not going to dredge, because when we last had a meeting with them before the end of the year, that's why I said they called me up again.
Ooh, you need to read the Island Moon letter to the editor from last week.
Yeah.
From
They said-
the PIPOA.
Yeah. I went to their last meeting in, I guess it was December, whatever their last meeting was, and they said they are not going to dredge until the city puts in box culverts.
And
Well,
the city
that's what-
won't put in the culverts until
the
they
city
dredge.
not
So
Right.
here we are.
And we
Is
had
that-
we
Yeah,
had
we
the
are.
executive director on this show 6 months or so ago, and his statement here was, "You won't be waiting on the POA to put in the culverts," and with the implication being that they were going to dredge.
Yes.
And based on that, that's why you put it through TERS
Yes.
2. They got $650,000, and Jeff came in and did that. Jeff Coim came in and did that presentation. Everybody was down the road.
So they're not saying necessarily, and here's the last time I spoke to them was the beginning of January, is they're saying that they would like to revisit and make sure that we're prioritizing the box culverts because of the water flow. It's not that they're, to my information, talking to them, that they're hard and fast not going to dredge. They said that if we can push through this culvert project, they can help us with that. Actually, they're interested in doing that. So I'm very curious about
Actually,
this.
Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
And there was a
Oh,
white
Lord.
and there was a white paper published by the PIPOA.
I think you should send me a couple documents.
Yes, it's on the
Sounds like
Facebooks
it.
of the Face of Books, just like we are on Island Moon Live.
You know, the Facebook thing is a lot of information all the time, which is
Right.
a little,
yeah.
a little
So-
inhibiting
Yeah, yeah.
on actually getting the stuff.
Right. So
Some of
the
it's
box
complete
culverts.
crap, too, so you gotta be
the
careful.
purpose of the white paper, Debbie, was
Yes.
that he was worried that it was going to introduce more scour
Right.
into that area.
Yeah.
But if you look at the way that it's set up hydraulically, it kind of narrows down anyway, and the flow would go right up the middle. So the flow would go right up the middle instead of going down the edges where it goes right now. So it's kind of a
There was
non-issue.
Speaking of white papers, there was another one put out just about in that same time frame by the POA saying that they think they want the Seagate over at Thackeray Channel. Now they want a second structure. This came up at their meeting in December. They want a second structure over near the Don Patricio Bridge to regulate water flow.
I know they're looking
What's
at
the
it.
city position on a Seagate? Where is that?
Yeah. Oh, here we are.
The city, oh gosh, so we had
That was made pretty clear, actually, but go
yeah.
ahead.
We had brought forward that we were, curious about wanting to do a study, a hydraulic study, or a hydrologist, I'm sorry, my lisp, study for all the water and see what, if any, technology would be needed. Because the thought process is that once we open all of these points, the water can breathe and flow through normally, and it should be,
off, yeah.
exactly, it shouldn't be such a hazardous concern. But, we went through the proper channels, and what we determined was the ISAC board and folks were not interested in funding that through TERS. They said, we still think a study's a good idea, but they didn't.
We've already done 3. Do we
Sure.
need a 4th one?
But but the thought process
Can
was
never
this
be too short, Jay.
overarching.
Well, there was
and
a-
I'm not a big, I'm not somebody that's like, get a consultant for this, get a consultant. I'm not that type of person. But the issue was like, we've got this group concerned about this, and this group saying this was done, and this one. So this was just roping it all in and making sure once and for all, what do we need to do? Is a gate even necessary? If so, where? What type of gate? All that stuff.
Well,
It went to the TERS
went to
board
TERS.
for a $250,000 study on where to locate a Seagate. The TERS board asked if it had gone through ISAC. The answer was no. There was a 14-0 vote to send it to ISAC. It went to ISAC, where it was voted down 6 against, 4 abstentions, and 1 in favor of funding the study.
Yeah, I was there.
And so at that point, the project
I was like,
is
whoa.
dead.
Back to the drawing board, kids. Yeah.
So that's the question. So the city said, okay, we're not funding the study. How are you going to build a Seagate without having an engineering study? You're going to have to figure out what to build and where to build it, and who's going to fund
PIPOA
it.
said that they're going to champion that.
Yeah, without a study, without engineering, without any money on somebody else's property.
Right.
Yeah.
Whew, this sounds like a great idea.
No
What
problem.
could possibly
no
go
problem.
wrong?
And the other
go wrong.
thing with opening the canals and getting Lake Padre open, getting Commodores open, and then cutting Encantada, I think it to me it just seems like they're kicking the can down the road at Encantada until they either figure out a way to get a Seagate funded or something to do.
Yeah.
And
all 3 previous studies show that opening Encantada helps split the flow.
You would
Yes.
think so.
It
okay.
pulls the
And the
bubbles
same with
out.
Commodores.
simple
All the
hydrology.
fish, everything.
But we're
can
still
move
waiting on the
through.
Commodore's permits, right?
Yes.
That to me is like, well, we can continue to squabble over
Well, where
Encantada,
does
but
this-
we need to open Commodore.
Where does the city fall in that? When the Commodore's permit comes through, is the city going to push the private owners on Lake Padre to take that dam out?
Oh, we won't have to push them. I mean,
Oh, no.
Tim Lang
There's
is
no pushing.
Yeah, there's no pushing. I mean, they're maybe pushing some sand, but it's not attention.
So when Commodore's
It's
opens,
waiting.
Yes.
the canals will open, and at that point, the question is, will Encantada be done by then?
That's why that's so important to get that dredged or the show on the road for that, because whenever Commodore's opens, that's been what everyone agreed on was.
Seems like the POA would want Commodore's open because it's going to help protect their bulkheads.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I would like to see this white paper, because when I met with them in January, it was like, hey, we're not saying we're not going to, but if we can reevaluate the focus on the box culverts, we'd like to work with the city to get that dredged and get those installed. Because
Sounds
the
like
city
a-
was still very interested in doing the box culverts, but TERS has to wait until it's replenished.
I will happily send you that.
Please do.
happily send you
Well,
that.
I've described it in print as a chicken and egg problem.
Exactly.
And I think that's pretty much what we got.
Well, I think the important term in there is chicken.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
I
we're
don't-
full of
You
puns
did not.
today.
Yes.
we're stuck, and
Yeah.
probably if I were a betting man, I would say that the canals will be open and we'll still be there'll be water will be trying to flow through clogged up culverts under Encantada.
And you'd be like, why did the chicken cross the road? Because
to
he
get to the
couldn't-
other side of
We're gonna take
Encantada.
shifts.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly it. Tried to, the
couldn't get
chicken
through
wanted
the
to
culverts.
swim through the culverts.
Because the canal wasn't open yet.
If there's one thing that we learned from Alberto, it was the fact that having only one aisle for water to flow through on
Yeah.
the canals
Yeah.
was too much.
That
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
have been. That should be the lesson.
Well, and
There we go.
and Alberto, we were there. It blew open Encantada. There was so much flow, nowhere for it to go. It actually cut Encantada open, and they pulled the bubblers.
Dale and I had video.
Yeah.
I went out there during
Wow, wow.
Alberto.
That was
It
a nuisance tide.
Look, yes,
Yeah.
that was a nuisance tide. Absolutely.
Yeah,
so
it stuck around
and
longer
it
than
looked
expected.
Good.
But
And when it was flowing just a little bit, all the fish from the other side were like bunched up against it, just trying to breathe. They were like, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah.
I mean, there was mullet, there was croaker there was redfish sitting there waiting for bait to come through. It was like magical moment for
Fish
me
party.
to actually see that and then go, oh, "Why didn't you guys?" open this? Come on."
Talking about water flow, the city now we built Don Patricio Bridge, Commodore's Bridge, two ultimately city projects.
Yeah.
What's the city's role? And the question that I get all the time is, why did we build bridges and then stop the canal? What's the city's role in
Yeah.
fixing that problem?
Well, that's just it. We've had meetings at nauseum to try to open. Oh God.
No, but no, the city's been fine. The city's
Ah.
waiting. The city's waiting.
That we have,
all waiting.
we've
Yeah,
all
money's been-
tried to facilitate bringing
Yeah.
everybody to the table and saying, "All right, we saw Alberto. That was quite
Yeah.
a thing. Let's look at that and learn from that."
Oh, one thing that I want to throw in with you right here is that the PIPOA is having an issue with scour under docks that are existing, right? So I've offered free advice that what you can do is right where the bulkhead and the sand meet under a dock, you can get literally people up underneath there to put bull rock right in the corner, right? So if you put bull rock right in the corner, just a little bit, what that does is it pushes the scour out a little bit, right?
I wonder if
so
that'll
it doesn't
still work under the yacht club.
absolutely.
You
Yeah,
think?
absolutely.
Well, what we're
We're having
talking
the same
about
issue
is
So
out
this
there.
is something super simple. You don't have to pull out the docks,
Right.
put in new sheet pile, and it's very cost effective. You
Okay.
could use broken concrete. You could use anything. Put something down there right at the corner, all along that cruiser, especially where there's a corner or big docks or something. There's a lot
Well-
that could be done without spending millions of dollars.
What we're talking about is the need to sink deeper sheet piling in the
Yeah.
critical areas south of the Whitecap Ridge, where the scouring is the worst
Yeah.
because the canal is narrow.
Absolutely.
And the pushback I'm hearing, so the POA, I talked to Jerry Watkins about this a while back. He's managing it for the POA, and they want people to move their pilings 3 feet out from the bulkheads, so when they build new docks, so that they can get sheet piling in there. What Jay is saying
Right.
is you don't have to do that.
With existing, exactly.
If
You
it's
could
already
go in
there.
there. They could have been doing that all summer, and they could be ready for hurricane season. They could start now and be ready for
Well, the
hurricane
issue that's
season.
popped up there is, and I was talking to someone about this last night, a lot of the canals you can only go out either 10 feet or 15 feet, build
depends
out.
on which
so if you
subdivision,
tell
yeah.
someone, okay, you have to put the piling 3 feet out from the bulkhead, now your space for your boat dock is only 6 feet wide and you got an 8-foot boat. So you essentially have made it impossible for them to put a boat dock in. So there's going to have to be some kind of, that's going to have to be addressed, because no one is going to want to build a boat dock that's too narrow to put
and
their
then it's
boat in.
cantilevered. Yeah,
Right.
No, yeah.
So it's the location of the pilings that are going to be the question, and
Right.
the idea of moving them 3 feet out is fine if you're in a very wide canal and you can go out 25 feet.
Right,
But
cruiser is not one of those.
Right.
That's the issue, because
and there's quite a few, and the most crucial area where you need to make the repairs, those are narrow canals. That's why the problem is there.
Right, bull rock. Just
Bull
go put
Rock.
it down.
You heard the answer here, folks, on it.
Yeah.
Bull
There
Rock.
you go.
You know,
That's what was
that-
done at the bridges.
That
Yeah,
you know
the
that
city was
longer
responsible for
sheet
that.
pile is like what, $500 a linear foot installed. Bull
Yeah.
rock or broken concrete is way cheaper than that.
It is
Well, that's-
8:54 here on Island Moon Thursday on KUKA Driscoll, Texas 105.9 and 103.3. Also on Retro Tejano 104.1. And if you're watching on YouTube on Island Moon Live, hello to everybody.
Yo.
Debbie Noble, Tyler Thorson, Dale Rankin, Jay Gardner. My name is Jacob Oggs, and our special guest today is Kaylin Paxton, City Councilwoman for District 4. We've got you here for the last 5 minutes before we hand this off to Eric Von Wade for the Eric Von Wade Show. Is there
Thanks
anything
for
else
coming in.
we didn't get
Thank
to that you
you.
wanted to touch
Good
on?
visit.
Thank you so much for letting me come on this morning. Just that, you know, we're really going to focus on this mobility plan. I'm going to make sure we get that on there.
17.9
yeah,
MPO.
and the MPO.
Yes, yes, yes.
Free
yes.
money, free money.
We have
been
to,
sitting
and you know,
there.
we're going to continue to knock on those doors, knock those doors down, because for me, this whole year, I've been trying to get some funding that historically the island and District 4 doesn't see coming
Right.
from over the bridge. And that's one of those big impetus behind me trying to get some funding for the seawall from those other funds, because we contribute so much. Like, this district and this island specifically is such a huge impact to the whole city that I'm going to continue to work on getting as much of that representation out here as possible. So far, you know, it's not fast moving, but it's been good moving. We've been getting some good progress on things. And at the end of the day, like, if we sit back and we look at everything we have going on, it's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot. It's a lot of pans on the flame. We'll just need to go through the timing on those. And I appreciate all the feedback. Like, everybody that reaches out, whether it's calls, emails, and all of this, I like that, and I'm happy to go search that down and say, this is what we're doing, or, you know what, that was a really good idea. Let's look at it from this angle. So that always is helpful for me. But
Well, if you give everybody 3 minutes again at the council meetings, you're going to need
Well,
to pack
We're going to
2
be there
lunches.
until,
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
I have the luxury of being able to turn the volume down.
we only had, I think, one person that, and that might have actually been a call-in, but no, it was one person was listed on there. Previously, we had it separated by Corpus residents and then non.
Yeah.
So we only had one person that represented non.
But I think
last
you're
year.
moving it back to noon, right?
Yes, we are moving back.
Yeah.
To
The,
saw
the,
that.
the problem with that was the people said, like, well, I don't, you know, only retired people can go down there and bitch. I mean, explain, and you know what I mean?
Explain their feelings.
Yeah, tell what they want, because that was, and I understand
moved
that
it to
part.
5:30,
They
and
moved
then
to 5:30,
people-
and it was like, for the love of God, it's midnight. Can we go home now? And Mark Scott gets a heart attack, and you know,
And then
soon. It's been rough.
people complained, and you know, I go back to when I was chairing ISAC. We were going through the golf cart wars, I
Oof.
guess,
Oh,
or
gosh.
whatnot. And I knew that there was going to be about 100 people show up for public comment.
Yeah.
And the problem is, our agenda item was down the agenda, and we had all the answers. And so I thought about, you know, bumping it around,
Saying
and
it
I
all up
talked to
front.
my current city council person at the time, and they're like, nope, you get to sit there because we get
Yeah.
to sit there.
There.
So we sat there, and they got whipped into such a frenzy. Somebody cursed in the church and had to be removed.
That was kicked out of the
Yeah.
Baptist church.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, that was crazy. But then when we got to the agenda item, everybody went, oh.
Well, why didn't you say
okay.
that in the
Why
first
didn't you
place?
say that in the
Like,
first
oh,
place?
yeah.
And then everybody dispersed. And
See,
the meeting was
I
over.
really try, if we've got information that's relevant, and I you know, I don't chair the council meetings, but I chair the TERS, and if there's
Right.
information that's relevant, I'll say, you know what, hold on,
But-
let's hear this out. Like,
Right, and I do like the format that you guys did do, that you do open public comment for each agenda item.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
that is help.
I
It's like,
fought for
okay,
that.
you get to present it
Yes.
first, and then people can comment on it. The
Which,
people,
which agenda item was the water aliens again? I
oh
forget
yes,
that.
the water aliens. It was way down the agenda, but that was a really good
I
one.
think one of us is slated to come and be picked up by the aliens. I don't know who. We didn't get to find out.
That's going to happen after we cover all the lakes with tarps so they don't have
Yeah, that's right. We stopped the
I mean, that's
evaporation.
better
Put
than
that
what
on
they're
there.
doing. I think they're mowing them right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaylin, are you
Like-
going to go to the MLK March Monday? You know, we have it's MLK Day. We have a march that goes from the county courthouse down to one of the churches.
Thank you. I have a morning appointment. I will see if I can still be there.
Well,
for
they
that.
said
Thank you.
this week
At
that-
noon, they have some speakers, and then it's a
Perfect.
huge turnout. It's always kind of a fun community day.
Debbie,
Said
I
this-
appreciate that you keep us in the loop with all the events. I love it. I love it.
Said this week they're going to try to use the downtown tours to knock down the old courthouse. Speaking of courthouses.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that was fun.
That's right.
yeah, I saw
Man,
that.
it's been so sad watching that slowly
That
deteriorate.
county came back and like, you know what?
good for them.
We should go down
You
there and take.
know-
We should do a broadcast from inside that place one
I
day.
don't think you're allowed. I think
I
it's
just
condemned.
want,
I don't think you can
I
go
just
in
want
it
a big
anymore.
old
helmets.
piece of that
Ooh,
beautiful
creepy.
stone. Let's
I
go
know.
put that at all the bulkheads.
It was
Like,
such
no,
a yeah.
yeah,
There you
and that's
go.
what
Tear
I'm
down the
talking about,
courthouse and fill the.
Exactly.
There you go. Fix the
Can
canals.
we do
Bull
that?
rock. I think
Absolutely.
we've solved
solved
a,
it.
We've solved a lot of problems here on
Reef it.
Island
Call
Moon
Brent.
Thursday.
Reef the courthouse.
Thank you again to all our guests, Kaylin Paxton, City Councilwoman for District 4, David Eckenrode, David Carr, Debbie Noble, Tyler Thorson, Jay Gardner, Dale Rankin, and my name is Jacob Boggs. We are glad that you joined us, and we were going to hand this off to the Mushroom Cloud of Truth, Eric Von Wade.